Goodberry usable?
Okay, I'll
We
give you a
just-
link.
Okay.
I discussed this with Ninja. He said we can use Goodberry, but it does not satisfy any hunger. It can only be used to heal. I did kind of want to ask if we can eat multiple berries at a time, since it's not like making you full, just so we're not only healing 1 HP with 1 berry, and we can still generate 10 good berries.
Yeah.
like an action.
Because I mean,
In Dark Sun, all berries are potions, so all potions can be drunk with a bonus action if it's in a quick slot or in your
Okay.
hand.
well, at
Because
least
the spell, like you make 10 berries, and it's like if you're making 10 potions, that's kind of a lot. And how many health points is that?
1 per turn should be all right.
what
Okay.
was it again? Goodberry. Ah, it was level 1. Okay, so if I get a good night's sleep and I remember the last thing that I did was I wanted to get a stone so I could make myself a stone tablet star map for my
Yeah.
circle of stars.
All right.
Yeah, you had said that at the end of the last session, and Ninja said that was fine.
Okay.
That's my recollection.
Thank goodness. That's going to be a lot of help in the long run.
Where's Prius?
Prius?
Good question.
Yeah, Prius.
Yeah, where's Creus?
Dirty Brit.
Oh, Prius.
Hey, where's Creus? Doobie doobie doo ba doobie doobie doo ba.
See, I was even forgetting someone, so then we'll have 5.
And where's Caster?
Caster's not going to be here. He didn't say where he is. I don't want to speculate because there's all sorts of crazy things that I would suggest.
He's not home. That's all we know.
Oh, and I made a new
But he
chair.
has phone access, so we know he's not in jail.
Right.
I have made a new chair.
What was wrong with the old one?
It was ripped and torn, and also every time I would lean back in it, it would break in half. So I was balancing with it most of the time.
I feel like somebody needs to design an indestructible chair for people that like to lean back and recline. Because like most chairs that are designed to hold you upright, like I'm constantly fighting against it, and all chairs are destroyed by me.
I was wondering where that bit of
The chair thinks it can
They
stay
do.
upright, but my back says no, and I win.
yeah. Have you guys seen the World of Warships Ossoviec?
I don't know what that is now.
It was a fortress up in I think it was Poland, but there's a story behind Ossoviec fortress called the Attack of the Dead Men, in which during World War I the fortress was gassed, leaving only 150 some soldiers left standing, but all were pretty much on the verge of dying. So the Germans sent 7,000 soldiers in 12 battalions. That's what 12 battalions equates to, is 7,000 soldiers, give or take. And the badly injured and dying Russians forced a countercharge, and the sight of their bloody rags, them coughing up bits of their lung, moving sluggish like zombies, was so horrifying that it pushed back the 12 battalions of Germans that were going to storm the fortress, in addition to Russian reinforcements also joining into the countercharge. And the casualties on the German side were more from their own troops trampling over each other and pushing each other into barbed wire than anything that the Russians had thrown at them.
Ooh, sounds like the makings of a good creepypasta.
Did this have anything to do with the reclining chair issue?
I mean, fighting chairs is sort of like a war that my spine wages on all chairs.
Ninja, I just linked you the chair my job got me for my home office since I'm
Alright.
still working now.
My back.
I think
But
the
it's
hardest
a
part of
little
the,
pricey.
I think the hardest part of the chair was assembling it, because halfway through I realized I had it backwards. Like I attached the thing and everything. I was like, huh, something's a bit off here. I looked at the picture.
$1,000.
Mhm.
No wonder why offices are expensive.
I
Their
imagine
chairs are.
it's probably all made out of like hard steel
Like-
parts, no plastic in there. Probably the padding is like real, not the kind that like rips off and comes apart like Walmart shit from China. Although I feel like it needs neck support. Like if you're really gonna recline, you need like something behind your head. I guess you could put a pillow there or something if you're really like looking to max relax.
I'm going to put the video in the free speech zone if you guys ever want to take a look at it, because it's an interesting story. Nobody knows if it's really true or not, except for a couple of documentations released by the Russians about the incident. But
Okay, Diamond, I'll check it out later. We're playing D&D. Here's the
Right.
spell
The
list.
video was sponsored by the
You cannot
Russians.
create or destroy water. Continual flame is a no-go for some reason. Create food and water doesn't work because it would destroy the food mechanic.
And
Water
water
walk
mechanic.
doesn't work because there's no water. Control water, same reason. Conjure woodland beings. That might be okay. Like, there's not woodland beings, but you could conjure beasts. Like, as long as your spell is a summoning spell that brings in beasts, like rangers and druids can summon creatures if they exist in the environment. That'll be fine. So Conjure Fey is removed. There are no Fey. Conjure Celestial, same thing. Tsunami, there's no water. All planar travel spells are restricted.
Well-
Don't work.
here's a question I have then for Conjure Fey and Conjure Celestial. So how is it that those planes have been just because there's the Feywild, which is the plane of the Fey, and then there's Mount Celestia, which is the plane of the celestial beings. I mean, like, how would those like not even exist, even though the magic that the sorcerer emperor people thingamabobbers drained all of like the life and stuff? How does that work?
All right, I'm going to show you this diagram here. So basically the way that this works is that there is a split, and the split separates the normal planes from regular D&D from the area that Dark Sun is inside of. So it's like an alternate prime material plane, and it has something called the Black or the Hollow where souls go when you die, but it's not the afterlife because the afterlife is on the other side of this barrier. But you can see that inner circle, the inner elemental planes. You can see that there's a split that separates a part of the inner elemental planes. So all of the clerics pull from that section right there. They're getting earth, fire, air, water. They're pulling it from that little piece of the elemental planes that exists in your separated part of the prime material plane. And then there's
I
also
see.
animal spirits and just the natural environment that druids can also pull from,
Mm-hmm,
But not the Feywild.
but not the Feywild, right?
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. I was just really confused. It's just like, did the sorcerers like destroy those planes or something? No, this makes more sense.
Yeah, it's kind of. Do you know brain theory of the multiverse?
No, I do not.
B-R-A-N-E.
Yes,
No.
Ninja knows what I'm talking
You
about.
got to read some Stephen Hawking Universe in a Nutshell to learn about that. That's how I did it.
Interesting. I'll probably look into it later. Well, now that I say that, I'll probably look into it never because I'm a serious procrastinator.
It's pretty dull. Stephen Hawking's not a good writer.
Damn.
Hot takes.
Amazing,
Yes,
amazing,
the
amazing
man who
minds
discovered
that
the
will
science
Great
behind
thinker,
black
not my
holes.
favorite novelist.
His books aren't meant to make you entertain them, to make you think.
Right. They did.
The general idea is that the universe is a bubble, in a sense, a multi-dimensional bubble, and so the multiverse, rather than there being like on top of each other, layered like onion skins in various dimensions,
Like
are
like
just
the
separate
Dragon Ball,
bubbles.
like the Dragon
Right,
Ball
right.
bubble.
Right. So they're separate bubbles basically floating in or forming sort of like a universal foam. So there are
Mhm.
other universes that might interact with ours at the quote unquote edges, but they're not stacked up on each other, so to speak.
Mhm.
And in each one of these little bubbles, the rules of what is physics don't necessarily have to apply to the other ones the way
Right.
they would have to do in like a different dimensional version of kind of like the little stacking the what we typically think of the multiverse where they're kind of stacked on each other, so to speak. Then the rules of physics exist the same across all those multiverses. Whereas brain theory, every little bubble is its own set of rules.
All right, we've gone far astray from Dark Sun, but here we are in our game. I'm sure if we had viewers, they'd be like, "Wow, this is some brainy D&D."
Oh, shocker! A D&D game with a bunch of brainy dorks in it.
All right, guys, you awake. A new day dawns in the slave pits of Dark Sun.
Right. Which reminds me, I need to roll that percentage.
What about Sia? Sia, are you watching on the stream?
I'm here.
You still unable to connect to the table?
Yeah, but I refunded Tabletop Simulator, and I don't now. Currently I don't have enough to add it back.
Oh, rip.
You
Like, I bought it.
refunded it.
Yes, because I couldn't use it on the Darkest Dungeon table, and that was the only reason I had it. So I refunded it, and now I don't have the money anymore to buy it again.
You should get one of those online jobs. You can make pretty decent money just talking on the phone.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking at this one company, Omni Interactive or Omni Interaction, something like that. They pay you like $16 an hour.
Summer's coming up too. Might have to look into that.
I mean, it's something to do if you just like to hang out in your house.
Is there? Do you have a link?
I could get it to you later.
All right.
All right.
Also,
Just like remind
stream
me.
link.
I'm forgetful. But yeah, I
Stream
have a link
link.
somewhere.
Yeah, I need stream.
Oh, you want the stream link? That I've got right here. Okay. Oh, you want the stream link? That I've got right here.
100 viewers, go. 100 viewers.
Echo, echo, echo. Oh, that reminds me. I was going to put out the word. I'll put this link in my Minds page as well. Join us on Twitch. I keep putting out the word. Flagrant self-promotion. We'll get some fans eventually. Just you wait and see. It's all a matter of plugging away at it. Maybe
When you
Hilda
have
will
the
join
green
us.
Screen,
Hilda's
I feel like
been
you
here.
don't need the black box around your.
No, I definitely do, because like you can see how bad my green screen effect is. So if I didn't
Yeah,
have
there's
that,
a
it would
little
have
bit of fuzziness, but
it'd have
still.
a it'd have a harsh edge right here. If I didn't
Oh,
have
okay.
the
Now it's
border.
way worse.
What you need to do is you need to get yourself a virtual avatar,
It depends
because
where I
that's,
go
that's
and
all the rage today.
how I
Yeah.
position the camera.
Your avatar could be in a hot tub.
Become a VTuber.
All right, guys. Dark Sun.
All right. Yes.
I don't know why they call it VTubing because most of the time they're like streamers. They're not making YouTube videos.
Right. Morning. Needs to get one of those.
Be like V witches. I don't know.
All right. See ya. What's your character doing
Yo.
in the morning when you get up? Are you gonna wait in line for your water?
Okay, so let me think about this. Right. Yes, I'm
You
gonna
get
wait.
no water.
We're getting water.
I have 4 gallons. I can go a couple days without water.
But this is like a free half-gallon of water, so why would you pass up the chance unless you have no space to hold it?
I actually wait. No, do I?
You have 2 water skin. You can only
No,
hold 3
one-
gallons in a water skin, so you would need 2 water skins to have 4.
I have 2 water skins.
See ya. You just went to check your spare water skin and it's gone.
Should have drank it. Or should
If
have
it's that
traded
guy
it.
again, I'm
Or,
robbing him again.
I should have.
Shout out to KEFCS in the chat.
Wait, so if I have this right,
Kentucky Fried
I
Chicken.
have. Yeah. Wait. Like half. So that's half a gallon. Damn it. Yeah, I get more water.
How much did you have in your containers?
I stole back my other water skin. I had another water skin, so I had about 4 gallons.
Okay.
And now I got this half one, so I have 2 gallons. Well, 2.5 now if I'm getting this half gallon.
The thief would have stole 1 full one, so 1 fits 2 gallons, I think.
So I have 2 gallons.
2 gallons left. And if you have multiple containers, you'd have room to spare. You could get another half gallon right now. So everybody's in line. The slave gets his water, gets out of line. The slave gets his water, gets out of line. This woman, she gets her dose of water, gets out of line. This man, he crawls over. He's got a limp, and he's a little bit slow. And the half giant says, "You're taking too long," and he kicks him in the face and knocks him over. And the next person comes over, and he gets his water and gets out of line. All right. Soul, you're up.
Wait, can you explain the scenario again?
You're in line for water. Do you say anything, or do you quietly accept your water and get out of line?
I just accept my water and get out of line.
Okay. The half giant gives you 1 pump, and you get out of line, and then it's on to the next.
I do the same, but afterwards I go to tend to the human that the half giant. I kind of just help the human up to move him out of the way so that he doesn't get any more beat up than he already is.
All right. He thanks you for the assistance. He says, "Oh, thank you. My name is Orin. Nobody's been so kind to me since I've gotten here." He falls back down. His leg is badly injured. "The half-giants crippled me on the way in, and they've done nothing to tend to it."
Well, my character will say, "Well, I am Traxus, and if you would follow me, I might be able to help you out with that just before the workday begins."
All right.
So I kind of take him, saunter off to behind these rocks over here, so I can use Cure Wounds to try and fix up his leg.
Right on. That'll help. All right, Varenza, you're next. The half-giant leers at you and says, "Some water, milady."
Yes, please.
He pumps water for you. Chichkrarin
Alright.
makes a bunch of clicky-clacky noises and gets his water as well. Morg.
Would I normally be getting water with my gladiator companions?
All the gladiators get water as well, but they can get as much as they want.
Can I get as much as I want?
Sure.
Say more. Can you get a little bit more from me?
Yeah, just get a lot of water for the group.
Just like an
Yeah,
extra portion, that'd be great.
I have 2 water skins because I stole one from that guy that was getting beat up like last week. So I fill up my water skins.
You
Alright.
stole it?
The half-giant won't stop you if you fill up the extra water skin, and he'll wait until you finish.
Okay, cool.
Gramorn.
Good morning, little lack. Hope you're having a good day. Can I have a little bit more water? Is it possible?
Ulalak snorts and says, "I suppose it would be a good morning." It
was a little rough last night and yesterday.
"Tonight'll be worse. Look to the sky as the cold comes."
Oh, what do you do when it gets cold?
"Oh, I go to my house and I build a big fire."
Is there any chance to get a cover or anyone that could help with that?
You
Or
got a
maybe-
blanket on the way in?
No, anything to burn, like pieces of wood or?
Quit your begging. Take your water and go.
Well, thank you.
By the way, can we get promotions?
Yes. Ululax is very, very surly and not very kind. And he likes to kick people in the head. He does that to several of the other slaves if they're a little bit slow, especially the new arrivals. They get a bit of a hazing.
So Morg, how was your fight yesterday?
Oh, he didn't fight yet.
I thought he fought in the arena the day before.
Yeah, He had a fight. He took 2 damage. It's still on him.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. You did. It was with this guy, Gregor, and he was badly injured. I have to roll some healing for him. He had, let's see,
33
He's got
points
hit dice, doesn't he?
damage.
let's see. He healed 14. When you heal regular hit dice, do you get your con mod as well?
Yes.
Yes. For every dice.
All right, so that's another 9 off that. So he's only got 10 damage now. So he's recovered quite a bit, but he's still got some noticeable injuries. And he'll stroll into the
Well,
yard.
if he had
He'll
a,
get his water and all that.
Does he look
if he
still
had a
injured?
full rest, I mean, why would if he had a full rest, he'd just be healed.
No, I'm
Period.
using Grit and Glory rules where you can only use as many hit dice as you have levels.
Oh, does he still look pretty injured?
10 damage. It's
Should've
not
done that.
noticeable, though. It's like less than half of his hit points. He looks fine. He's stoic.
If I do a medical,
Yeah, you'd have
Would I
to
be able
you'd
to
have to
notice?
like roll an insight or do a medical check on him to really tell that he's got injuries still. For the most part, he looks fine.
I get a 16.
All right. You can tell he's got a bit of an injury, but he's trying hard not to show it.
I go to him. Say, hey, Tyr, how are you? How was your fight yesterday? I think you were fighting with Morg.
A glorious battle. I took many injuries, but we won the day, and that's what matters.
Who
Win or
heals
die.
you here? Who takes care of you strong fighters when you get injured there?
The psionicists, they tend to us with their healing
yeah.
abilities.
Well, I was wondering if some of you might need like a personal healer. I'm able to heal. I don't need a psionist for this.
All right. He's going to grab you, and he's going to bring you to the tent. All right, he brings you to the tent of the mole gladiators, and he pushes you into the room, and he says, "This one says he can heal all of us. Heal us,
All
healer."
of you.
And all right, so let's see. Carcone over here, he's like, "I've got an injury," and he's gonna show you his leg that's got a gash on it. And then Lisanne over here, she got some scratch marks on her face. She's like, "Can you make me look pretty again?"
No, maybe not. I'm not sure that's possible.
My magic does have limits, you see.
Yeah,
And Ken's over here, and he's like,
I'm not a miracle maker.
Ken says, "I am uninjured because nobody ever lands a punch."
Saitama?
Well, maybe not everyone at the same time, but I mean, I am a healer. I do have some powers to be able to help.
Gregor says,
maybe
"I said
Buddhist-
heal, healer," and he shoves you again.
Wait,
I'll,
isn't your healing magic though? Wouldn't that be?
I'll cast Cure Wound on him.
All right. How much do you heal it for?
I'll do a level 1 for now.
He didn't have much of an injury, and so it's gone.
I give him 7 back.
All right. He smiles broadly and says, I'll be back in the fighting pits at no time."
There you go. Well, I was wondering, I don't really have much of a shelter. I was wondering maybe in exchange I can take care of your wounds and I could meditate and do more in the next day for you guys if you give me a corner where I could sleep.
All right. The small gladiator says, me next, it burns when I pee."
Where did you
Hopefully
stick
you
that?
got removed disease.
No.
It burns when I pee.
All right. He might be angry if you can't heal it. What can you do?
Yeah, I got on my knees and
Oh god.
I cast healing ward. You cast healing ward like a healer.
I cast. I do a medic check on him.
All right.
Oh, a 25.
All right.
Yeah, 25.
He appears to have some sort of sexually transmitted disease.
Oh, you gotta check where you stick it. That's the problem. If it smells a little fishy, I would just stay away from it.
I should have stayed away from that dwarf. Her beard was so attractive, though.
Oh my god. Well, I don't know. You might need a little ongan. How do you call that?
You made your bed with this one, Chris.
I'll seek out a druid for some herbalist care.
Yeah, that's probably your best choice, and
he-
clean it more often too.
He
Wait.
limps away with his knees knocking together.
Ninja.
What's up?
Where are those people on the other side of the yard that are like from a different city?
Yes, the Urukites. Do you want to go over there?
Yes.
All right. You head over towards the Urukite camp. I don't want to spend too long in any one spot, so let's bounce around a little bit. So you got in with the gladiators. They're going to ask you all sorts of medical questions about their various aches and pains and injuries. They're going to be having you make medical check after medical check. You might start to regret offering your services because they're going to ask for a lot, and then more gladiators will show up, and they're going to ask for a lot, and then they invite their friends, and these barbarians show up, and they've been fighting all day, and they're like, "Yeah, heal us too." So you're gonna be.
So I used all my slots pretty much on these guys.
That's all right. That's all right. They will continue to hassle you with questions and not let you leave.
Okay, I can't.
You're like the popular kid, but the second you're out of spell slots, who is this guy?
Yeah, I've been able to heal 6 of them.
At
Just
some point, when you're unable to cast a healing spell, they might rough you up a little bit, but they won't beat you too badly. When you say just wait until tomorrow, they'll take your word for it and let you stay there.
Yeah, give me a good place where I can meditate, and I can keep you guys warm too. If you bring me anything I can burn, I can cast a fire for you.
All right.
All right. So, where'd that figurine go? A soul. I see Rensa. I see Morg. It was just on here. Well, anyway, you go to the Urukite camp.
Mhm.
Here it is. Here it is. Your purple was a little bit hidden by the angle of my camera. All right, so I'll set my camera up. After the delay, you'll see what's up here. I'll just sort of describe it. So there are a bunch of men in the yard here. Some of them look like fighters, and they've got sticks. Others are old men, probably farmers that have been pulled in from the fields. There's some ladies going around with buckets, and you can see one man. He's over by the tents, and he's got this headdress with some animal horns, and like who knows where he got that? Like somehow he was able to keep some of his gear here, and he's a little better equipped, and he seems to be talking to some people, and they are deferential to him, like he's probably the leader of this band.
All right. I want to walk up to him.
All right. You approach.
Mhm.
Hakan of Uruk stands here. He's a powerful-looking warrior, and he's going to ask, who are you and what brings you here? He notices that you're not quite human, but he can't tell that you're a half-elf.
Hello there. I have come to give you some information, if such, because you seem like a very important figure around this corner of the slave pit.
Oh, really? What have you got for me?
Well, I don't think it'll be safe to discuss this out in the open. Maybe if we had a location a bit more private.
Yeah, clear out the tent. We'll go in here. All right, he has all these people leave, and he calls you into his office here, private office.
Is that the only tent? Isn't it more like a community center?
It's one large war tent that could probably have like 20 people at one time.
All right. Well, and where are they from again? I keep forgetting. Dura?
Uruk. Uruk is the next country, the next city-state over to the east.
Oh, okay. So, long story short, there is an uprising that is planned, that is going to be planned to be, that is planned to be going on soon. And I will wonder if you guys, the Urukites, will be willing to help.
Help the Tyrians? I don't think so. But during the chaos, we could probably escape or do some damage to the city. Kalik will suffer for putting us in bondage like this. It's been my plan all along to come in here and do some damage to Kalik's empire. However, this could be an opportune moment. Tell me more about this this uprising. How many people do you know are involved? How much damage can we expect them to do? And when do you expect them to do this damage? Do you have a timetable? What do you know?
I know at least 6 other people that are involved in this uprising. There might be more. There might be more, but it's kind of secret. Technically I'm not allowed to tell you this, but I'm trusting you with this information. Anyone in the slave pit could be one of the rebellious people.
All
You
right.
can talk to that guy right there, and I point to like a guy outside the tent. He could probably be one.
We do have to be very cautious. There have been informants in the past. 3 weeks
Really?
ago, 3 weeks ago, there was an escape attempt early when they were first starting to bring slaves into the pits. I was one of the first ones brought here as a military captive, so when I got here, the first escape attempt saw many of the slaves die in the attempt.
What did they try to do?
Well, they stormed the gate, of course. There were too many half-giants. It was a foolish attempt. The rest of us learned we weren't going to get out that way. We're going to need to cause a very, very large distraction if we want any hope of getting out of here. Otherwise, the half-giants would just surround us and either kill us or cage us once again.
That was my plan. See, I plan to spread it like a hive. See, if I tell you and you get, as many people as you can involved without, having any leaks happen, we can, start a chain reaction and we can get the entire slave pit to revolt.
I like this plan, but be very cautious. You never know who could be the one that'll turn on you.
Yes. And wait, that sounded kind of suspicious. Anyway.
The Templars can offer a lot. They offer wealth, power, influence, and a variety of other gifts to those who would betray any attempt at an outbreak. I've heard this is what got the last batch of rebels caught as they were planning, and somebody was bribed.
Who was the worm?
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
And who did you hear this information from?
It was just a rumor in the yard. Word spreads. With nothing else to do, people talk. During a hard day's labor, people like to gossip.
Well, are you trustworthy?
I serve Lord Hanuman. You can trust that I am an honorable servant of my Sorcerer King, and so you can trust that I'll do whatever it takes to defeat Kalik and bring down the city of Tyr.
So, I have your word. Is that right?
You have my word as a warlock, as a Templar of Hanuman, that I will help you bring down these slave pits and undermine Tyr.
Can I expect the same of your people?
Yes. Anybody in my encampment here, they serve me, or they work under me in one way or another. They will all follow my lead, I believe.
Okay. All right. And remember, spread the word, but not too far.
Yes, keep it close to the chest. Be careful who you spread it to, especially those filthy Tyrians. They can't be trusted, and the elves, don't trust them either.
You might have to work with them to get out of here. I know you might not like it, but it's the best, alternative. Compared to staying in the slave pits and rotting away.
Yeah, mark my words, they'll betray you. You'll be on the frame before you know it. Don't trust the Tyrians.
So that
He sounds very
everybody else
untrustworthy.
is
This is out of the game. He sounds very untrustworthy himself, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you could tell, he's a little bit biased. Like, he
A
is
little bit racist.
he's a ranking member of the military of the other city-state. He is here to destroy Tyr. He's all about it.
All right. I know this might be kind of off topic, but can I stay in your tent?
You're not an Urukite, so afraid not. Get out.
Understandable. Bitch.
This tent is for the people of Uruk only. No offense, though. And I will certainly
Understandable.
repay your information. Remember, you'll have a friend in the city-state of Uruk after this if you are going to help us defeat Kalik.
Alrighty then. And I'll be on my way.
You might be a rebel here, but in Uruk, you would be a mighty hero if you helped bring Kalik down. But he says no more, and he goes back in his tent. Or he goes back to talking to his people here, I guess. All right,
Alright.
so who else does a thing somewhere?
I do.
All right, Trexus. You were helping this
Yeah.
poor man, Orin the slave. His leg is feeling much better after doing some healing on it. He can walk again. He hops up and down, tests his leg, and he's like, "Oh, that's much better. Ah, but I'm awful parched. I couldn't get any water. That half giant, he kicked me right in the face." You can see his eyes swelling up and turning purple.
I give him a half gallon from my water. I said it's not much, being that I also have to watch out for myself. But here, take this.
All right. That'll help him survive. He won't get any con damage during the night. He thanks you again, and he says, you've saved me twice now. I don't know what I can do to repay you. I am but a peasant. But I will remember your name. Traxus it was, right? And I am Orin. You have a friend here. If I can ever do something to repay your kindness, I will attempt to do so.
Well, if you know anybody who could possibly get to that berry bush over by the half giant's tent, I might be able to do more than just heal wounds with my magic. I might be able to actually create enough of a supply of healing berries in order to help out a little bit more people and gather a bit more of a following. My friends and I, we don't exactly like it here, but you didn't hear that from me.
I don't know anybody, and half giants scare me. I don't know what I could do. I could skulk around, but that's also near elven territory, and the elves are dangerous.
Well, if it comes down to it, perhaps I will come with you in the dead of night so that we might have a better chance.
Skulking around in the night? I haven't got much skill in it, but I could attempt it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I wish my skill in farming would come in handy. I doubt it will here, though.
It just might, my friend. It just might.
All right, he looks around the rock just in time to see the half-giant overseers coming through the yard and gathering up people into work crews once again. They're followed by the human overseers, and the human overseers are picking out the people that are going to work the more skilled labor jobs.
I try to stay hidden in the gladiator stand.
You want to hide out and avoid work for the day.
But that's my new job.
Shucking your
I
work.
go back there because I'm.
If he
Like,
is
why did you
overexhausted, he won't be able to get his spells back, so it would be in his best interest to not work.
You got a point there. All right, we'll see. All right,
Well,
so
that's only if you're sleeping out in the cold. Doesn't matter if you're working.
yeah, generally, if you can get a decent night's rest, you don't have to make the roll. But it's only a 30% chance that you can get your spells back if you are suffering the effects of hypothermia and starvation and all that.
Well, if it's during the day and I don't have I'm done looking after the people, I'll rest some to try to catch up.
Well, this is if you can get away with it. We'll see. All right,
I
so Mora goes to the tent. The barbarians leave. They're gonna join the work crews. The moles, they're all going to rest for most of the afternoon because later there's some gladiator stuff going on and they don't have to go to the arena until several hours later. So this place is going to remain full until then. That gives you a little bit of cover for at least several hours until the tent empties out, and then you'd be the only one here.
I have an idea. What you could do if the floor is sand is you could half bury yourself and then cover yourself if there's any bed rolls or pieces of cloth that you might be able to use to hide yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking I'd like to be able to find what are those called? Some lodestones.
Shout out to Barker in the chat. See, we got viewers, guys. Getting better every week.
Hey, Barker, long time no see.
Actually, we have a pretty large number. 6 is a lot.
Baka.
Hey, Barker.
Hello.
Let me check my notes. There's a thing that's supposed to happen here. Let's see. During the workday. All right, so the gladiator thing is going to happen during the workday, but I'm going to do the work part of it first. So, are you guys going to try to do anything to rig it one way or another? Do you want to try to get a cushy job again?
Of course. I'll leave that the convincing up to Soul. though.
course.
He's a
Alright,
bit better
I need
at
to
that than
delete
we
that.
are.
I want a job that's gonna be easy, but at the same time not not be too unimpressive. So, is there another job that requires Dex acrobatics?
Well, let me look at the list of jobs here. So, the water carrying you could do with Dex Acrobatics because it's like balancing water. Most of them are strength, really.
Hmm.
I think
They're
there's
slave labor
only
jobs.
hauling water,
There's
really.
also the wisdom one for like baking bricks or something.
Forming bricks
Yeah,
requires
there's,
wisdom to bake the
Yeah.
bake it to the right temperature and pull
Perception.
it out on time.
Yeah.
So there's a perception check for making bricks.
Wisdom perception. You have to keep an eye on those bricks and pull them out right on time.
That's
Okay,
interesting.
I think we'll just go with the bucket water carrying, pumping, and carrying job again. Wait, we lost most of the strength force, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of Dex people, and
Ooh.
so we'll be making the pumping rolls with like no mods.
Mm,
The
This
other
is a
option
bad
was
scenario.
the int stonemason or int carpenter's tools.
You guys want to do int stonemason?
I think
I
we're
think I
mostly
got a little bit
wisdom
of
guys.
intelligence.
All right. So just like the previous time, you're going to try to get that
Nope.
water hauling job again. Even if you get that, you have to split between the strength and the dex. So some of you will have to take the harder roll.
Someone's gonna get the dick.
All right. So you appeal your case, Soul. You want to make the roll?
Yep, here we go. D20 plus 5. Not another
Can I
natural one,
assist
please.
him with that? I do have
Uh,
persuasion.
Please do.
All right. So Grit and Glory rules. If you're doing the assist, you have to beat a DC 10 diamond.
Okay, that's probably no problem at
And
all.
that will give Soul the advantage on the roll.
Please don't
Which
fumble
he
the
needs
diamond.
because he only rolled a 10.
Yes. Even with a plus 5, I'm just not lucky.
Hold on. Roll 1d20 plus 1. Damn it.
Whoa!
A 7.
Ooh.
All right. So you attempt to assist in convincing the half giant overseer that you should be on the water crew, and he scoffs at you and he says, "Water crew? I don't think so. I don't think so. You didn't do a very good job at that before. I'm gonna put you all on the brick setting crew." All right, so you have to construct a sturdy
setting.
brick wall or add to the towering ziggurat. So that is the int stonemason's tools that all of you guys have to make.
So just a straight hit
Great.
check.
I have a 0 modifier in that too.
12 for Rensa. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know what the DC is.
I got 11.
So
what job
you
did you
said?
I did.
What job do we get stuck with?
Making the brick wall.
Stonework.
You're a
So it's an int
stonemason
check.
today.
And what does that require
feel-
for roll?
Intelligence stonemason's tools. If you don't have proficiency with stonemason's tools, it's just an int bonus.
Intelligence modifier plus 1. Please, God. Jesus, 6.
6. All right. Okay, so Norcus, Morgan, Taruk not doing anything today. Grimorn, you're
I guess-
you're in there.
I'm in the tent.
You're in the tent, not doing anything today.
Well, I'm still kind of looking after the wounds of
Slacking.
these people. Like I can't necessarily use my
But-
magic, but I'll build like not cast, but fix bones and stuff like that.
Right.
Clean
On.
some wounds and things like that.
All right. So I'm gonna put some
Just
zeros here.
Chikarin roll as well, or you just
Nah, don't worry about him.
Cool.
I mean, he's here, but man, what would they make the Thrycreen do? They can't really do most
Set
of the.
bricks 4 at a time.
They can't really do most of the normal jobs, I don't think.
Wouldn't that be unfair? Don't they have high strength or something?
Don't they have good dexterity?
And there's also
just in
communication
general?
issues. I don't know. They're probably just on the scavenger crew. They're probably just going around cleaning up the dead bodies, I think.
Oh, I thought he stuck by me so that I could translate.
He will. He will.
Yeah.
But like as far as tasks that they have the Thrycreen do, that's what he would do, which is something they do in the morning instead of during the workday. So I guess he just follows you around. All right. So during the workday, a thing happens. Go to my notes here.
Do I take any slashing damage for not, working hard enough?
Well, the overseer, of course, is going to whip you.
Are you asking for?
Yes,
He
Hana,
is.
please.
It only does 2 damage, so he was not putting his full force behind it.
More. 2 damage, you say?
2 damage.
Did Thraxus and I manage to avoid getting whipped?
Oh, something
Uh-oh.
happened there.
What just happened?
Is that what the one thing that you said that something happened there, Ninja?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
God, I
Table
hate
just
it when that
rewound.
happens.
The table got all black again.
Well, somebody hit rewind
Yeah.
by accident. No big deal.
Something
It only
something
goes back a
happened.
second.
Didn't you say something happens? What happens, Ninja?
Yeah, I was going to my notes to look it up.
Mm,
Don't worry about it, shorty. All right. So what happens is the gladiators go to the gladiator pits in the middle of the workday.
Am I allowed to follow them?
All right. You follow the group of gladiators and you go to the slave pits. When you get there, the master of games meets with the group, and he looks down into the group and he says, "Who the fuck is that?"
Me?
Of course you.
Oh, me? Oh, I've been, well, actually, today I just started my first day here at healing these gladiators and helping them out with their wounds.
Get out of my ludus. Healers don't belong on the field.
Can I assist? In any other ways? Maybe in case I have to, somebody gets injured, I can go and bring them out of the fight after the fight, clean up the place.
Back talk. He snaps his fingers and 2 half-giant guards approach.
Hey, guys.
You are dragged off the field.
Hmm.
You find yourself in the under part of the gladiator arena. There's several people here from the psionic crew. They're let's see. I'm gonna put them over here. So you're dragged off to this area where there's some healers and they're just sort of waiting around. There's one gladiator. She's being tended to. She's still got some injuries.
I asked them, any of you need some assistance with this? I'm not one of yours, but I'm capable of taking care of wounds and all. I do have my own capacities. All morning I've been healing a lot of the fighters that were still injured from yesterday.
I mean, they don't care. As long as the guards don't come and beat you up, whatever. It's not their problem.
I try to assist them. And if there's a downtime, I'll do like short rest to try to recuperate.
Since Caster couldn't be here, I'm going to roll for Caster for that in check. He actually does pretty good. I'm just going to give him 16. So that was Norcus's work day. Because he would have been here. He would have been in the yard. He would have been participating. So his score is actually like the highest out of everybody. Norcus puts in the most work with a total score of 121 for the week. Not bad.
I mean, it's kind of expected of them since they rolled so high the last time.
Yeah, wait, I'm sorry. Was I not muted when I was watching that video earlier? I kind of realized it.
For a little bit, yeah.
Sorry.
There's
For a little bit.
I thought I was. Sorry.
It's okay,
Yeah,
Shoddy.
it's fine.
What?
That's what we heard. Somebody said, it's okay, Shoddy.
Go Shorty. It's your birthday. Go Shorty.
Anyway, so during the workday, everybody's brought to the gladiators arena, and the master of games is going to say to everybody, we need to train really hard. We need to put on the best show ever. It's going to be the biggest and the best show. Really, just the greatest. You don't know. Calic's going to be here right over there in that stand. He's going to be looking down, and he's going to be watching. And you need to be putting on the best performance of your lives. You need to fight. You need to fight and slay the beasts that we present to you in glorious fashion. And if you must die, die gloriously for Calic. Don't make me look bad, or I'll have your guts strung out. That is all.
Assassination attempt? Question mark?
All right. So everybody is left in the yard to train for the day, and so they're going to split off into different groups. Let's
He's
see.
gonna cheer, except for that last little bit where he like kind of threatened to hang her guts out.
Little question there, Ninja.
Yeah.
So our fighters, do they fight against another crew, like another
Sometimes
group?
other people, sometimes beasts.
No, but what I'm wondering is like this master of game. Is this his crew that he put together, and he's going to be fighting, I guess, competing against another master of games, or?
No. He would pit some of you against others in the same crew. So generally, it'll always be team battles. So it'll be this team versus that team, and they'll fight.
Okay.
And one team will defeat the other, and depending on how bloody a game they want, they'll either like say thumbs up or thumbs down. Maybe this team will live, maybe they won't. But if they don't want to spare any slaves, which right now they cannot spare any slaves because they need them, they're only having teams fight animals mostly, or fight matches that are not to the death. So
it's not like there's like a roster, and there's different type of like team owners. Like we're not fighting against another crew of.
No, but there are chosen teams. For example, Techadril and Lisanne have been chosen to work together because they have very matching skills. Techadril hits super hard, and Lisanne, all she does is like flank and trip opponents to give Techadril all of the advantages so that he can do max damage. So they're a really, really strong team. They work well together because of their skill sets. And so the Master of Games, if he sees good pairs, he'll pair them up together. But new fighters, they mostly just mill about and fight. He doesn't make Ken train or pair up with anybody. Ken just stands off to the side and does nothing. He also defeats all of his opponents in one hit, so there is that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know how these are paired off. Let's see, we got, like, a couple moles that are together. We got a couple other moles that are together. Morg has teamed up with Gregor, and that just leaves this one mole slave with nobody to team up with. And so the Master of Games looks down at him and says, "Oh, you're the unlucky one, and you're matched with Ken." And Ken smirks, and this guy, he goes over here, and he wets himself, and Ken comes over and punches him, and he's instantly knocked unconscious. And then Ken goes back over here and leans against the wall again. All right. That's your training day, your first big training day after your initial test. So you're actually training against your training partner. So Gregor is going to roll a strength athletics, and you can roll against him. You're probably going to win for your training day. Basically just wrestling to build up muscle.
And when did they say that the big fight is? It's upcoming. It's upcoming pretty fast, huh?
Oh, if he didn't say, there are flyers all over the arena that say it's in 1 week.
1 week.
What do you get?
20.
20, nice. All right, you win easily. Gregor puts up a good fight for the first few minutes, But then you see that he's got a pained expression on his face, and he's still got an injury from the previous battle.
He should be at -3 right now, though.
Yeah, -3.
I did heal him.
All right. But so you managed to get the victory because he had some sore muscles that caused him to lose.
Ease up on him.
All right. So the others, they wrestle and they train, and after a hard day's work, they return to the tents.
No good if my fighting partner is oversore from working out too much.
Right. All right. So after a long work day, you return to the tents. And they celebrate. On the way back, they pass through the kitchens. Rather than going through the main gate, they come in through this way, and they gather up whatever food and drink and wine that they want. They get first pick before anybody else, and then they go to the tent to eat.
While we're walking, I give him a subtle healing word to heal him up to full capacity.
Nice. All right. Fully healed.
Be
Gregor.
like,
Wait, doesn't healing word only bring it up to half of his health?
he only has 3 missing health points. Why would it? What?
I'll be back, guys. I won't be going for long. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Never
Healing
mind.
word heals like D4 plus my spell modifier. My spell
Oh,
modifier is 2, so even if I roll 1, it heals. all the
I'm
way.
I'm thinking 3.5. My bad. Healing word in 3.5 is very different. That's my bet.
All right. So, it's mealtime. Everybody's able to get their bowls of food, their disgusting gruel, and begin eating wherever they can find a spot. A lot of the slaves gather around these big flat rocks that serve as sort of tables. Some of them go to tents. And the healers have their own tent. The healers also get decent food compared to everybody else.
Ooh, what's on the menu for the gladiator? Is this my first meal with the gladiators, or is this technically my second? Because I was gladiator last week.
You probably got in on last night's feast too.
Yes.
The half giants didn't really notice Grimorn skulking about, and nobody noticed that you weren't really assigned to be with that group. However, at the end of the day, this half giant overseer is greeted by this Templar paladin and a couple other half giants. And the Templar screams at the half-giant overseer and casts a spell, and the half-giant sort of goes paralytic and can't move. And she's going to pull out a dagger, and she's just going to casually begin stabbing him in the stomach while saying how poor a job he did. So several casual stabs, like not like I'm trying to kill you, but just I'm going to stab you in the gut several times, and then she walks away. And then after her spell wears off, the half-giant was going to collapse, but these other half-giants drag him over here and put him on the frame.
It's on the overseer.
Mhm.
So nobody
Was
knows
he
quite what
was he
that was
our-
about.
Was he our boss?
That was your boss, yeah.
Oh, too bad for him. He whipped me last night.
That was your overseer. He was like, nah, I think you should do this intelligence check job that you did such a miserable job at.
Hold on. Traxxas is after getting their meal and such is going to just nonchalantly head over to the because I mean, you know, it's not like it's forbidden for people to go near, right?
It depends. I mean, somebody might say something if they see you walk up, but it looks like the guards aren't terribly interested. The overseers have gone to eat. They're not really hanging out in the yard, and most of the Tyrians are over there eating by the kitchens.
So-
you're sort of in the clear if you want to go during mealtime. Yeah.
Yeah, so if I word this properly, will I get advantage on my persuasion?
No. Probably
Okay.
not.
Well, I'll basically look at the half giant, our half giant overseer, and I'll be like, "Hey, if you treat us a little better, I can cure those wounds for you."
He whimpers and says, "I can't do nothing. I'm back in the slave pits now if I can survive the night."
Well, maybe you might be able to help me out with something else then. And then,
like what? Like what, little one?
Well, the half giants over in the corner over there have a berry bush. All I want is just a couple of berries. That's all.
Help me then. Put me guts back
All right.
in.
I cast 2 doses of cure wounds to make sure that he'll live.
All right. His intestines climb back up inside his stomach, and he looks noticeably less like he's going to die.
All right.
So Brenso's got an action.
That's 3.
If you're done, sorry.
Yeah. I'm done. I'll basically have moved away at this point. So yeah, you can take your turn. I'm gonna go have a cigarette.
All right, Brensa, what do you do?
Another one.
Brenso's gonna walk up to the gate and go to one of the half giants and say, "I saw what happened. I'd be interested in speaking with your boss."
You want to have words with the Templar? I'll send word. All right. He heads off.
You're so smart. I am so smart.
I forgot to mute.
Hilarious. Okay, so let's see. Uyalak, notice that.
You like?
Who's that? Uyalak? Who's Uyalak?
The half giant that mans the water
Oh, that guy.
the water lock and the water pump and all that. He was
I-
over here
I-
and he was watching.
I did not realize he had a name.
Yeah, it's Uliulek. So nobody else noticed, but he did. All right, so you are brought up the hill into the main area. Let's see. Let me go to my tier map here. So when you come up out of the slave pits, you're in the brickyards, and the Templar has a building if you head this way. So there's a large building off here. A lot of the half giants are stationed in buildings along here. But the Templars have a really nice mansion on the end here. And so you're brought
Okay.
to the Templars' spot, and you're greeted by this dark-robed Templar who doesn't give you a name, but she's going to say, "I've heard you wanted to speak with me."
Just a quick housekeeping thing. Could I get re-promoted again? Sorry.
Oh, right on.
And I turned to the Templar and bow and said, "Yes, my name is Brenson. I couldn't notice what happened earlier today, and it looks like you might have an opening in the ranks of the overseers. I'm sure you haven't heard of me, but if you were to check around, I've done good work for the city of here as a bounty hunter, both for law enforcement and on occasion helping to round up escaped slaves."
All right. She's going to cross her arms, and she's going to look you up and down, and she's going to say, "You might be useful. I could use information as well. You would have to keep a dutiful eye out for any, let's say, sneaky activities that the slaves are trying to get away with under our noses. If you could do that as
Of
well,
course.
you might serve as a decent overseer. We do have an opening, as you said. The previous overseer had done a poor job. We have quotas to meet, and Kalik will abide no slow slaves. If this ziggurat is not finished in time for the games at the end of this week, it'll be all of our heads. Yours and mine, and I'm not about to die for some filthy slaves. Present company
no,
excluded,
no,
of course.
not. Totally understood.
So,
Wait, what's happening? Wait, who's about to die? I heard
Take-
someone. I heard all that, but like,
take this.
Okay.
She throws some overseer robes your way, and a whip. So
Oh.
she gives you the
Francis
robes that
getting
have the
who's the new overseer?
Vrenza.
That's a maniacal laugh.
She's going to laugh as well, and she's going to say, "This will infuriate the Tyrians that I'm putting an Urukite in charge of them." She seems to
Well, I mean,
revel in the idea
angry
of
slave.
their suffering a little bit.
Well, I kind of lean in a little conspiratorially and say, angry slaves are energetic slaves.
You wouldn't do anything wrong to your party members, right, Varenza?
Just make sure they work
Only when
twice
I
as
have
hard
to.
as they did in this previous week, or you'll find yourself on the frame with your guts hanging out the way the last overseer did.
Oh, goodness. Wouldn't want that.
We wouldn't want that, would we? Now, get out of here. This is my relaxation time.
Well, thank you again for seeing me.
All right.
And I will head back to, I guess, the overseer's area.
The half-giant guards escort you back to the yard. The overseer. Oh, that's right. So there's a spot. The half giants will lead you to the overseer building or I guess it's more of a tent, the overseer tent, which is a lot nicer than the slave tents. It gives you a place to sleep. It's warmer, and there is food, like a better class of food there, food and drink. So you won't have to worry about food or water if you're an overseer, or cold,
Okay.
or heat. So that covers all the bases.
And quick question. So I kind of send. I know Chikaran has mental abilities, so I'm gonna kind of send him a kind of like a message, like kind of like play along, so to speak. And I'm gonna introduce him as just my lackey, my gopher, so to speak. He's just a dumb insect, but he does good work. Those extra arms help him carry more.
As long as the vultures carry off the corpses in the morning, I care not what they do during the day.
Perfect.
Boy, she's just not very nice, is she? I'm
Yeah,
trying.
I was
trying to
saying
make her
the
as
other-
villainous as possible.
Oh no, this wasn't. I wasn't saying this to the Templar because she doesn't care. I was saying this when I get to the overseer area,
Ah, right.
to the other overseers, so that they're not kind of questioning why this guy's hanging around.
I mean, he's probably gonna have to hang out outside the tent, but
Well,
he could be around.
he was kind of doing that around the Urukite tent anyway. So
Yeah, he just huddles down next to the tent and blends in.
yeah. I guess I need equipment cards for this. For the whip and the robes. I don't know if the robes is just clothing or if it's actual armor. Or anything.
Yeah, I haven't generated those yet. For now, they are just standard robes, and you get robes. You get a belt, where the whip can hang. Robes, a belt, and maybe you get shoes too, and a hat. Yeah, Templars wear a funny little hat. Well, not Templars. You're an overseer, so you're like below the level of Templar, but that mid tier you get a hat as well.
So hat, whip, robes. Got it.
Yeah, a nice little outfit to make sure everybody knows you're the overseer and must be respected. Respect my authority.
Are you proficient with it?
It's a martial weapon. So I believe I am. I need to look it up. I think it's finesse as well. Which is a good thing. I think I can use my dex.
You're proficient at beating people.
Hurting them, yes.
The only skill that matters.
Whip. Yeah, whip. Bypass, disarming, finesse. Yep. Grappling, non-lethal reach. Restraining. Nice.
Is he gonna go into one of those frenzy where he like whips people like 68 times?
Nice. Maybe.
Don't bring it back up.
I mean, if you
Don't.
keep calling Brinsa key, then quite possibly.
What is Varenza?
She's
She.
female.
You're
Oh,
playing a
wow.
girl?
Hmm.
Oh yes, that's such a scandalous thing.
No,
So-
I'm not saying that. I just thought Varenza was a dude this entire time.
No, he's the one giving the clap to everyone at the time.
Varenza was a
Nasty.
dude. Yeah. Just don't get mad at me if I sometimes forget Varenza's a dude. I mean, girl.
I'm trying to generate a belt, but it keeps giving me ones with wild curses on them. You don't want one of those.
Yeah, no.
What spell level is Cure Disease?
Third level, I think.
Oh, I didn't mean to send that here. Hold up. I'm making tons of mistakes today.
Character unless they're available for casting. Do so choose your spells equal to.
There we go. There's a belt. All right.
Okay, so I get 4 level. Which is
What's left? Robes. I still need robes. Hmm.
Right, Koreans wear hats.
Not usually.
Okay.
I don't think they can because they have antenna. People can
Yeah,
make a
yeah,
hat
that's what I
out
was-
of a Thrycreen's head, though.
Yeah, let's not
Hmm.
do that. Let's not do that.
Okay, so here we go. I'm just gonna call this a scholar's outfit. 'Cause it was the first thing I found, and it's a little bit damaged, but whatever. Hand me
Fair
downs.
enough. I mean, I'm not exactly assuming that it's brand new clothing.
I mean, you're the overseer. You could just command one of the slaves to stitch it up for you.
There we go. Somebody's gotta have tailoring skills around here.
All right, so you will be the new overseer in the morning. The night is bitterly cold. There will be 4 hours of sub-zero temperatures.
Okay, time to crawl into the sand and insulate the hell.
Now, many of you have found refuge. Morg, hanging out
Vrenza.
here. Grimorn hanging out here. Vrenza hanging out over in the Urukite camp. So,
No. Overseer's camp now.
Overseer's camp now. But previously you had a tent as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
basically, it's just Traxxas is the only one out in the cold tonight, I guess.
Hmm.
Traxxas, who was that again?
Well, wait, Sol, do you have a
Dragon-
spot?
Dragon's character.
Sol might be out in the
yeah.
cold as well.
The dirt. Wait, no, I wanna get near. Wait, is it cold tonight again?
Yeah, it's extremely cold.
4
And it'll
hours.
be cold for 4 hours, so it's a brutal, brutal night.
Right, so
How many dead bodies are around?
None yet, but by morning there will be.
I was gonna use the dead bodies as warmth. I just want to pretend to sleep again so I can see if I can catch a thief again. See what new goodies he got.
All right, so you're going to avoid sleeping.
oh right, there were a few things that I wanted to get done during the night. That's right.
You wanted to sneak around at night too, right?
Yes.
All
I
right,
want to
so
pretend to be asleep.
So everybody beds down for the night after their meal. Darkness falls. Most of the encampment goes quiet. I was going to do a thing, but I'm probably going to hold off on that until a future night to try to spread them out a little bit. So we'll just skip right to the night portion. Do you guys want to roll stealth?
Wait, do I have to
Well,
roll stealth to pretend to be asleep?
first, I would like to take probably a point of damage to pluck one of my scales to use locate plant and animal for snakes again.
You do a scan
And also-
and detect whatever creatures are available.
Yep, which would be this one and this one. Not going near that one because we all know what happened last time, but I can definitely get to that one.
All right.
It's
so
nighttime. No problem.
all the creatures on the board are stealthed and moving, so their location's not accurate. So you do detect. Does it detect all of them or just one?
Detects any of the type that I am going for. So if I were to want to try and find a dog, I'd need dog's hair, rat's hair, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so you should be able to see any. Is it any snake or all snakes? That's the main thing.
It's all snakes within a mile radius.
Gotcha. All right, this snake is actually over in these rocks over here, if it'll stop lagging. On the left side.
Okay, that'll be a lot easier to do, being that it's away from the half giants.
The
So
other snake is right back here, near that bush.
dang. Right near those lovable berries. But I think I have an idea. So Traxus is Traxus first is gonna find Orin, since he did ask for help tonight.
He's sleeping here.
Okay, well you know what? I'll leave him be.
All right.
But yeah, so
He's
I'm
done
going
that thing
to
where he digs himself down. He huddles next to the rock, somewhat buried under the blanket and the sand for a little bit of insulation.
Right. So I'm going to go over to this snake, and then I'm going to use my free animal friendship on it.
Ouch! He's gonna get 2 levels of exhaustion tonight.
Ooh.
Yep, wait, me? Yeah.
A little question there, Ninja.
What's up?
These rocks here, all around the place here, are they pretty big, or like would they be movable?
They are probably not movable. They're very large. They're not very tall. Think of them as tables, right? They're about table height, but they
They're
extend.
like flat rocks.
They extend deep into the sand, so they're not
Okay.
really flat, but they extend down a lot, so they're really heavy.
They're like an iceberg.
Yeah, if they were not as big and heavy as they are, they probably would have been dragged out of here. But as they are, they've just been left behind. So depending on the movement of the sand, sometimes they're uncovered or not. Many times they're just used as tables.
This is my second level of exhaustion.
Yeah, during the night you're gonna need to make 4 DC 10 con saves against the cold.
Okay. Well, with the burying ourselves in sand, we still get the advantage from that, like the first time, right?
All right. You can do that for 3 of the hours. Unless you
Okay.
bury yourself in advance of when it gets real cold. But if you're going to run around and do stuff, you're not going to have a lot of time.
Well, main objective right here. I mean, pretty much. So yeah, Traxus is going to just nick himself to give the snake a little bit of blood for the animal friendship spell. Free animal friendship, by the way. And yeah, now I have a snake friend, and I will ask snake friend to go over to this bush and bring back some berries.
All right. So let me just take a look at the spell. Animal friendship. Can you talk to snakes?
I do have speak with animals.
Probably going to have to cast that as well.
Okay.
All right. So
Con save,
the
Nick.
snake will become convinced that you mean it no harm. It must see and hear you.
It sees me and it hears me. I'm in close enough proximity.
It gets a wisdom save. All right, let's see. I roll a 5. He fails. All right, so the snake becomes charmed, and then you use your talk to animals, which allows you to hiss at it in just the right way that it understands what you're saying. So a series of sharp hissing noises later, the snake is like, hiss, yes, I understand. I will look for berry. The snake slithers. It slithers all the way over here.
Ninja, I rolled the 4 con saves. I succeeded every one except the last one, in which I got a 4.
All right, so you're only going to take 1 level of exhaustion for the night. That's not so bad if you only have
Yes.
1 level.
I have 2 levels of exhaustion now because I had one from the night before too.
So when you rest, you lose 1 level of exhaustion.
But I'm pretending to sleep.
So since you didn't rest, yeah, you're going to gain. You don't want to get too much exhaustion. That can kill you. It'll give you a lot
I
of
know.
penalties during the workday as well.
Can I also roll a perception check to see if I can find another thief?
Okay, so during the night, roll your check. You're keeping watch.
Perception, right?
Uh-huh.
Is anyone okay? Perception. Roll d20 plus 1. Okay. 6.
All right. So some people move about in the camp at night. They're very stealthy. You did not see them. You have
Okay,
a feeling they
but-
were there, though. And in the morning, some people will be like, "What the fuck? Where's my water skin? God damn it!" That
Oh,
water
okay.
thief, every night he gets somebody. He got you the previous night. He got that guy tonight. He's drinking plenty of water. Probably more than he needs, it seems, because he's robbing multiple people each night.
I am going to kill him.
And it always seems to be Tyrians. You can see in the morning it'll be like several people in the camp here complaining their water's missing.
Do I notice that, or is that?
Many
is
of
that
them
out?
automatically
careful.
blame those Urukites. Those Urukite thieves probably did it.
It has to be the elves.
It could
that's
be
what
the
I-
elves. They also blame the elves a lot.
There's a
Hmm.
lot of racism going on.
No,
I say.
actually- I think it's actually the half giants because they need to be able to keep their breeders alive, which means water.
They're half giants. How sneaky can they be? They're big
Yeah, they're
hunting
pretty.
dogs.
They got that giant ninja. He's going around.
Yeah, he's got
Doing
really high
backflips.
stealth. He may be large, but you don't see him because he just wears a sheet that looks like a rock.
Yeah, runs on his tippy toes.
Or no. Better yet, it's just a big cardboard box that squeaks by in the
He's-
background.
He's playing a prop hunt.
I still blame the elves. It's just not my half elf racism peeking through. I swear.
Okay.
Anywho, how long does it take that snake to get back to me with a berry?
The snake does not return for a while, so he slithers rather slow. And he moves across the sand, and he gets there. And when he gets there, some things happen. All right, so the snake arrives, and then it goes for the berries. And then there's another snake. And that snake sees the first snake. And the first snake goes, "Hiss, I have to get these berries for my friend." And the other snake is like, "Hiss, these berries belong to my friend." And your snake is like, "But I have to get these berries, otherwise I'm not a good pal." And the other snake says, "But my pal has those berries. You shouldn't take those berries." And then they have a little snake fight.
Oh, great.
Okay. After a while, your snake returns. And the snake, he's missing a couple scales. One of his teeth is crooked. And the snake says, "All right, I tried to get some berries, but there was another snake. And the snake was bigger than me and had all sorts of skills that I didn't have and kicked my butt. And then the snake said that its friend owns those berries and that I can't have any. I'm sorry."
I understand, friend. Go and rest.
All right.
I need to rest as well.
He crawls under a rock and goes to sleep.
All right. I'll bury myself in sand and put my blanket over so that I get that advantage roll.
Your color's blue, right? I'm going to change his color to blue.
All right.
Are
Well,
you snuggling with your snake?
the snake. Technically, the snake could get warmth from me. Yes, and actually, that was one of the things I was thinking is the snake could just wrap itself around my leg, and just kind of hide itself.
Well, he is friendly to you for 24 hours, so whatever you want to do, that's fine.
I mean, it wouldn't even extend it if I were to be. So I'll probably figure out something else. But
After 24 hours, you can just cast it again.
You could have it hunt some rodents for you, stuff like that.
all right. Well, I'm gonna make my rolls with advantage. So I have to make 3 of them, I assume.
Well, hang on. All right. It was 4, and because you did a bunch of stuff before burying yourself and the cold set in, you're probably only going to be able to make 3 of them with advantage, because during that first hour when it got cold, you were busy burying yourself.
Okay. Fair enough. I'll do that one first. 20. Good.
While Diamond is making those rolls, can I do a little like bit of backtracking or like simultaneous stuff that's happening?
Sure. What do you do?
During the time of like the supper or evening, I want to go around and try to find the person or persons who kind of like supply the other slaves with like hidden weapons, daggers, and shivs, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And I want to see if I can offer some water in the weapons.
You want to trade water for weapons.
Yes.
Even though you were given a weapon at the Gladiator Ludus, it wasn't enough. You want something else?
Not for me.
Yeah, all right, all right. So you go out into the crowd. Let me know which group you want to go talk to, because there's people all over the place. Depending on who you go to, you'll get different responses. So during the meal period, you have the larger group of Tyrians eating here. There's some dwarves and other slightly like less human, like half elves and stuff, hanging out together. There's some gangs, like there's like this over here is a gang of thugs, and then there's the sickly people. There's the barbarian group. So just a variety of different people here and there.
I want to see if the thugs have weapons.
All right, you approach a gang of thugs. All right, what you see is five muscle-bound, shirtless men, and they surround a woman, Congus the Mole, and she's like reclining against a rock with her legs crossed, and all the men are like doing whatever she wants. They're like fetching her water and bringing her food and cleaning her nails and stuff. And she looks up and she says, "What do you want?"
Come looking for secretive weapons
Weapons,
in
huh?
exchange for water.
Oh, I like this one. He's got water, boys. Well, you want weapons, eh? Now all of the boys draw their little shivs and look menacingly at you.
Do you have extras? I'm looking for some for my own friend.
I think the menace was lost on this one, she says. Boys, intimidate better. All right, the boys approach you with their daggers and make intimidation checks. Let's see, I've got a 12, I've got a 3,
Roll.
and I've got a 18. All right, the one on the right actually looks like he might know how to use his weapon. And then she says again, "Now, I asked you what you wanted, and you offered water. You should just give us the water. How about that?"
While this conversation's going on, can my character move over there?
Now, you were a little busy doing the snake thing, unfortunately. This all happened simultaneously.
Oh, gotcha.
Are you sure you want to start a fight with one of the gladiators? And I have my big like club weapon with me.
Oh,
Gladiator's friend.
you got yourself a gladiator's friend. You present your weapon, and this guy who rolled a 3 on his intimidation, he backs off immediately, puts his weapon away. He's like, "I don't know."
Wait, well, my present, I can't back. I can't like. I tuned in at the wrong time. You present your weapon. He backs off.
Mine's bigger than yours.
My weapon's bigger.
She says, all right, maybe we can do business. Get back here, boys, get back here." They put away their weapons. She says, "All right, what are you looking for? As you can see, most of our weapons are concealed weapons. We don't have anything big like what you got. If you can already get yourself a gladiator's weapon, what do you need with our little pokers?"
Like I said, I was looking exactly for what you guys have for some of my friends. I believe you guys already understand the nature of the slave pits, and I'm trying to help protect some of my friends as well, or at least arm them to protect themselves. And lately, there's been some water thieving around, going around the camp, so
I'll take care of that tonight.
Yeah, I think it's best if we can deal with that.
I'm gonna make an example out of whoever I find.
So, as I was asking, do you guys have any spare daggers?
This is
or
the kind of
shivs?
weapon they're wielding right now. Oak stakes. Piece of wood that's been sharpened into a stabby implement. They're finesse light weapons. Fragile 3, fire susceptible, made of oak.
What does fragile 3 mean? Is that like if they roll a 3 or lower, then it breaks?
So it crit fails on a 1, 2, or 3, and crit fails cause damage to the weapon.
Ah, okay. Mm,
So Fragile's like reverse keen.
Yeah.
Okay, that's easy to keep in mind.
I think belt slots. Let me check. Doesn't it say on that one that you have? I think it's 2, right?
It did. You gave me 2 quick slots on the scholar's outfit, but the belt does not say how many quick slots it has.
Yeah, maybe I never tagged the belts with that. I think Grit and Glory says how many a belt holds, but I don't remember off the top
Okay,
of my
I'll
head.
look it up.
Yeah,
Nope,
it's in that.
that's fine.
It's in that section on equipment.
how many spare stakes do they have, if any, or if they're willing to part with ones that they have?
Each of them has 1 currently, so among them there's
Okay.
like 5 of these.
How many of our group doesn't have weapons? Is it just me and like Ferenza who has a weapon, or is it Sol that has a weapon? I forgot.
I have a couple. Just
I
not
don't,
mine.
I don't have a weapon. yet.
Also,
I don't have a weapon, but technically I don't need a weapon.
okay. I'm gonna then I will ask for 2 in exchange for a gallon of water.
Deal. All right. She hands
Wait,
you a
wait, see
couple
if you could-
sticks.
See if you
What
can
was
fetch
that?
me an instrument. An instrument.
Instrument, like
Yes.
one to play music.
Yes.
You're not here to ask for one, so I'm not gonna do that. And also, I doubt thugs have instruments. So, anyways,
Might be
I
able
give
to
them a
carve.
gallon, I transfer a gallon of water from water skin into the air.
Maybe a bone flute.
Yeah, yeah, you might be able to carve
Hollow
out.
out
of,
hollow out someone's thigh bone and just blow into
I
it.
get 2 of these shiv thingies, and I give it to I eventually find and give it to some of our teammates who need weapons.
All right.
So you guys take the weapons. Who is
So,
it? Diamond Dragon and who else?
just make
need
a copy of it. There's the 2 sticks.
I could use it.
it? Carius? Yeah, you guys take it.
Sweet. Thank you. Oh shit.
All right, it's 4.
Who's typing these?
That's me.
Thankfully, it was still in my my.
Can I like
Control
that
V
thing?
so I could paste it?
All right, I'll leave them with a good night and stay warm. It's getting chilly out here.
Right.
And I'll return to attend.
She laughs and then she wraps herself in her 7 blankets. As do all of the people that are with her, they all have way more blankets than they should. Meanwhile, several other people in the crowd are like, "God damn it, they stole my blanket." The advantages of being in a gang, right? They just
Having shivs.
make
Am I
weapons and
capable?
then steal what they want.
Am I capable of doing something before the cold in the night?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'm not sure which of the tent I can stay into.
Well, you're in the healer's tent right now.
So
Healers meditate.
who seems to be more in charge, or who is available to talk to? If some
Master
of them are meditating.
Confucius. He's the leader of the psionicists, the healers in the tent here.
I'll walk towards him, and I'll introduce myself. Hello, I believe you are the master of this group, and my name is Grimoire.
I am Confucius, master mentalist. How can I help you?
Nice to meet you.
Wait, I sense it. You have the will.
I do have some power, and I've been healing or trying to help with some of my gifts. You know, the gladiators, since they take a lot of injuries, and one of my friends is actually fighting with them. and trying to get away from all of this harsh work. I don't believe I'm the best to be fitted to, carry buckets of water and bricks and all these things. But I have other abilities. But I was wondering if I could maybe join your tent. I'm looking for a home. And I would, if you give me a chance to rest and maybe a little bit of a chance to make my prayers, I could keep on helping your group and helping the camp with the healing, taking
Alright.
care of people.
He'll need a demonstration of your healing ability. I guess he might have seen you help the gladiators a little bit at the arena, possibly.
Yeah. But I tell him I'm out of my powers. I've used everything this morning.
Well, rest and meditate. Tomorrow is a new day.
Could I know you don't know me, but I was wondering if I could maybe help some people around. I don't know how to do that around here. It just seems so difficult to get anything from these guards.
Ah, yes,
And-
the guards will offer very little.
But they want us to work hard, but they don't give us enough to survive. And the nights they get hot and they get cold, and I'm able to make some fire, but I need certain things to burn. Like, is it possible to ask for wood or anything that could be used as a fire to warm up the people around?
Wood is a resource that is often used up in a variety of different things long before you'd have a chance to get your hands on it here. If you could get out into the city, it'd be easy to acquire some, but here in the slave pits, resources are very limited.
Yeah. But maybe one other thing, and that might be a little bit more common around here. I was wondering, is it possible to find any lodestones?
A magnet, you say?
Well, I would be capable of fixing tools and fixing some clothing for us or the gladiators and maybe some of the workers too.
I rolled for him. He doesn't know of anybody owning a lodestone that he's ever interacted with, so unfortunately he can't help.
But I guess I'll work and I'll try to help. Maybe I can ask the master of the master of games. He might be able to help. Is he approachable? Do you think I would be able to, or maybe you could introduce me?
The Master of Games is a busy man. It's unlikely that you would interact with him at all unless he's having you whipped and killed. So probably avoid him. He mostly
Wouldn't it be
just wants to interact with
better?
gladiators.
Wouldn't it be better for his fighters though if they came in to fix the uniforms? It's supposed to be a big show. If they come in and broken equipment, it's not going to be very entertaining.
Oh no, they'll have the best equipment for the show itself. Don't worry about that. They'll be decked out in fancy decorative armor specifically for the event. They'll be wielding weapons custom made for the event.
Oh, yeah?
There will be a considerable amount of pageantry from what I hear, he says.
Where do they keep all that?
All of that stuff is in a warehouse in the city somewhere, I imagine.
Okay. Well, I'll keep on asking, but if ever you hear anything, or maybe even if you can introduce to maybe some of the overseers. I'm a bit I've been in this area in this camp for 2 or 3 days now, and it's kind of difficult to approach these overseers. I'm sure they might be able to help out.
This is actually day 7. This is the end of your first week here.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, I came in like a couple of days after the
Yeah,
other
I guess
guys, huh?
that's true. I guess that's true. This
Yeah.
would be your day 5 finishing up here.
Well, let me know if you could. If some of your group can help me, maybe get in contact with some of the overseers. I would really appreciate it. I'd like to be able to help around here.
Well, he's already invited you to join the healing group here. As long as you can demonstrate your abilities and make yourself useful, you can join his group.
All right.
As you can
Thank you.
see,
So-
Taruk Lifetaker's already joined the group. He's over here meditating.
He's not too talkative tonight.
Nah, he doesn't say a word. He's decided to take a vow of silence and poverty and devote his life to doing nothing but healing people that are dying.
Okay, so I find my own corner, and I cover myself. I do my prayers.
All right,
I meditate.
everybody. This tent is only for meditation, so everybody meditates, and occasionally you hear some snoring. But no, they're actually meditating. Really, this isn't sleep. This is meditation.
Well, I'll do my own prayers, and my own because I need to get back my spells for the next day.
Right.
So I'll pray to the Lord of Flames.
Okay, so we're going to draw that day to a close. I think it's a good time to take a short break. I'm going to grab some drinks, and then I'll come back here in 5 minutes or so.
Sounds good.
I just came back with my burrito.
I just thought it was funny how Chris was saying, "Oh yeah, the overseers are very difficult to approach." He's gonna be in for a shock tomorrow morning.
I mean, there's other human overseers.
Yeah, but not that are used to be part of your work crew.
Hmm. So what happened in like the 5 minutes I was gone?
Yeah, what happened? Well, I know what happened.
Chris's character was it Grimoire joined the psychic guys faction.
Ah, okay.
Someone stole my. Wait, no, not this time. Like I'm sleep deprived.
Did
so
they actually like kind of, I don't know, accept him, or was he just there just because he was healing people?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Mm.
AFK for a second.
Is Diamond Dragon smoking?
you go take a smoke break.
I'll take that as a yes.
Hopefully, he's not smoking the marijuanas.
Nah, he smokes cigarettes. Is that your like third cigarette today, Diamond?
Is he there?
I don't know. I see his mic light up sometimes, but I guess that's just echo.
Echo that we cannot hear, but it's there. Did we take a 5-minute break? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we're taking like a 5-minute break.
Should have done that when I went to go get my burrito. Like, okay, everyone just take a break.
Now he's just taking his break with the burrito.
Yeah, and I'm just eating my burrito.
What type of burrito is it? Chipotle?
Nah, homemade.
What's in?
Basically a supreme burrito. Put ground beef, beans, lettuce, tomatoes, sour cream. But there's also this one place called La Vix in my area, and I don't know if they have it where we're at, but they have this special orange sauce that they make in-house, and they sell it for like $7 a bottle, like those restaurant-style looking plastic squeeze bottles that you might find in like an old diner. So we got one of those, and it's pretty good with that sauce.
Which what are you talking about? Sorry, it just got up
it's
to
a
the
little
end.
spicy. I'm eating a supreme burrito with like La Vix spicy sauce.
That sounds good. Supreme burrito. Which part of the world you guys live?
I think we're all over in
California.
America.
Oh, all California?
Yeah, California.
Damn.
I don't know about everyone else, but that's where I live.
Michigan.
What's up?
I'm in Canada. I'm in
Hey, Diamond, how's your like third cigarette for today?
I'm in Ontario, Canada. But I was actually born in California.
My brother did not strain out enough of the beef fat. It's leaking everywhere.
Is Ontario near BC?
No, no, no.
Dang.
BC's like all the way west. Ontario is like the Great Lakes
Right.
area. Yeah, We're just north of New York and kind of Illinois and
Yeah. I only asked because I got a friend that lives in BC.
oh yeah, no, BC is like straight up north of California. If you it's like if you keep on going,
I see.
same side of the mountain chain.
Mhm. Oh, are we just waiting on
Is that
Ninja?
part of Canada?
What, British Columbia?
Oh, wait, what? I thought you said it was north of New York.
No,
No.
Ontario.
Ontario is British Columbia is north of
Yeah.
California.
Like where I live, I'm about 2 hours from Detroit and 2 hours from Niagara Falls, Buffalo.
Okay.
That's if you head straight across the Great Lakes, I'm assuming, for Detroit.
Well, if I go west, like southwest,
Speaking of Michigan and Detroit, that's right.
and no, I'm not too far from Toronto.
It's just too bad that the United States had to crack down on the Canadian border. It's just like, Jesus Christ.
Did they?
Canadians are the most friendliest people you'll meet.
That's funny.
Someone smuggling.
Ninja.
Some people were smuggling drugs through California.
They're gonna need to reinforce the Canadian
Wait.
border to keep Americans from fleeing to Canada.
Wait, so a couple things I overheard that are interesting. So, Castor, you said you're from the Detroit area.
Was that?
See, I said it.
Yeah, it's kind of muffled.
He's from
yeah,
Michigan.
Yeah, Detroit,
yeah.
Michigan.
You said
You're going robot mode. Your internet's a little weird right now.
oh,
Who, me?
all right.
Oh,
Yeah, psych. Is
Hold
it just
on.
for me, or is anybody else hearing that stutter?
No, he's a bit
I-
muffled.
I hear
yeah,
it too.
his mic's having problems, but it's not robotic.
Can you guys hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I walked too far away from my phone. My Bluetooth goes. So
Yeah.
no, it's asking Sia. So you grew up. I grew up in the Metro Detroit area, so that kind of caught my ear.
Ayo.
I'm
How
from
was it?
Rochester
How was
Hills.
your stay?
Yeah, so you know like Windsor and all that.
Yeah, well, I'm also Canadian, and now I'm in
Oh.
Vermont, and I've lived in California. So
There you go.
I'm like from everywhere at this point.
Yeah, kind of the same for me. Like I lived in Alberta for a while, like in the plain, like kind of the Texas of Canada, and I lived in Quebec, and now I'm in Ontario.
Yeah, I'm from Quebec originally. I'm from Montreal.
Oh yeah, yeah, I lived in Quebec City.
Okay, I thought I detected a Quebecois accent there.
Oh, Québec.
Cool accent.
Ouais.
Ah, on peut parler en français.
Oui, on pouvait parler en français.
Damn, all of you have
Thank you
even
for
better
taking
language
over.
skills than me. I'm jelly. All I can
I
say
see.
is parlez-vous français? That's it. That's literally the
Oui,
only
oui,
French thing I can
Chris,
say.
Well,
Baguette.
two of us can.
Baguette,
two of us can say that.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I could say bonjour. There's that.
Bonjour.
And there we go.
Como
There's
tolerante.
Lamborghini,
Bonjour.
Ferrari.
Comment ça va?
Comment ça va?
Yeah, not bad.
S'il vous plaît.
Boulevard.
Croissant, baguette, biscuit.
Biscuit,
Croissant.
biscuit.
Croissant, croissant, croissant.
Well, I just
Are we still on
started-
stream?
Oh yeah, we sure
Welcome to
are.
the stream, everybody.
Yeah.
Whoever's there.
This is now the French stream. We'll play the rest of our D&D game entirely in French.
Oh
Yes.
God, I'm gonna have to get out Google Translate.
You must learn the language or you're getting kicked from the group. I'm sorry. I don't make the group.
I actually am learning a language. I'm learning Japanese.
Nice. Konnichiwa.
Arigato.
I just think it's funny that out of like I just joined this random online group and like one guy's from Detroit where I grew up and the other guy's Quebecois where I also am from. And it's like, oh, this is kind of funny.
Well,
Yeah,
no
well-
wonder you mesh so well with the group.
I was actually born in California.
Yeah.
And I-
Yeah.
And I've lived in California before, so
I've heard about California. Does that count?
I'm an honorary Canadian.
you're probably
live in
better off
Minnesota.
for having not lived there.
Yeah, and I was from Modesto.
All right.
I hear
Are we
parts of
ready to
Northern
continue?
California are okay.
I mean, I
Where
love
were we?
California. We just
Where were
raising family there.
Was
we
that?
were at
Everyone's here, right?
Mord nearly got his ass beat until he pulled out his big weapon.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then he gives us shivs.
Oh,
Alright.
that's where we ended. Okay.
And
Yeah.
Well,
no,
we were at the end of
the
the day, so we were going to go into the next day.
Yeah,
There was
Grimorn
a-
sought shelter in the.
A nice cutoff right at the end point of the day, and then this will be the first day of the second week of slavery.
Yeah, but we gotta get some help for Saul and for who else
Thankfully,
is-
I made my rolls.
No,
miss
I
him,
know,
so-
but it's like you might not be always lucky.
Yeah, I know. But,
Okay, so the next day, they let the Overseer off the frame, and he goes and he joins the Half Giants. He's no longer an Overseer, so I'm going to strip that from his title.
Right, but he does have a job.
Can I beat him since he's no longer an overseer? Like revenge.
Yeah,
Please don't.
that's a thing. Like, usually after they've been an Overseer for a while, nobody likes them, and they don't survive long in the yard because they've made a lot of enemies. Fortunately for him, he's a Half Giant, so all the people that hate him in the work crews over here are not part of the Half Giant crew. So he's going to hang out mostly over here so he doesn't get killed in the night.
Oh man, that'd be.
But
Very,
he does still have a job that he needs to do for me.
Yeah, carry rocks and water.
he
No, no, no.
convinced you.
I convinced him to grab at least a couple of berries off the bush.
Wait a minute, I just realized something. If Mad God left, He-Man became a gladiator. Varenza is now working as
Say
an
you,
overseer.
man.
Sorry, force of habit. If Long is now, doesn't that mean our workforce lost even more members?
But Taruk, Mad Dog was like he's like a full-time healer. Yeah.
But if you think about it, now you guys gotta focus on what you're good at with the small group that you have.
Yes, but the one thing that we are good at requires something that you're good at, strength.
Well, I mean, I could probably slip in with the gladiators as well as a healer, but I just choose not to because, well, I'm trying to figure out shit here in the slave pits.
I'm gonna slowly kill off the elves eventually. That's my plan.
Yikes. All right, so the new day dawns, and the Overseers are going to come out from their tents off to the right of the slave pits. The water is opened up, and the water lines begin to form. So a lot of people rush over to get in line and get their dose of water for the day.
These waters are called water hunters.
For the healers, do we go and get our own water, or is there people bringing the water like the gladiator?
Yeah, you have to get water as well.
Alright, so I ask maybe if I can grab and pick the water for the healers.
Even the
And I can help them.
gladiators will collect water from the water well in the morning. And at
Oh,
night.
so
That's like the main water supply around here, so everybody has to use it. It's just that if you are like either a gladiator or a healer, you could probably take as much water as you want rather than being abused like the regular slaves are. You're considered more useful, and so they are less inclined to, kill you off for being like weak and useless.
I'd like to try some animal handling today.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's step through each step. The first thing in the morning is that water line. Does anybody want to say or do anything special, or does everybody just get their dose?
Well,
I'm gonna-
I want to take my snake with me, have him curl up my leg.
You bring the snake to the water line.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
Uyalak looks down and sees the bulge and says, "Is that a snake in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?"
Takes out the snake.
Yes.
I will say nothing and just grab my water.
Wait, no, you should have said, well, yes, because then you would. I got a snake in my pants, and I'm happy. You.
Nah, I don't want to draw too much attention.
Uyalak isn't real talkative, so unless somebody has something in particular to say, you can all just grab your water token.
Two things, Ninja. One, I assume as an overseer, you don't have to worry about water every day.
Now, you are actually stationed outside of the slave pit, so you have access to the regular town's water supply.
Okay. And then the other thing is that when Hakan is in line, I assume he still goes in line to get water like everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, as I walk by him, I'm just gonna whisper, "Meet me at dusk."
To who?
Hakan, he's the
Okay.
leader of the Urkite camp.
Gotcha.
All right. So when he's
When
over
I-
there
when-
getting water, you tell him to meet you when?
When we go
At
get the
dusk.
water, do we notice that Vrenza has like a whip and has a new uniform?
Outfit.
Yeah,
Hey.
the overseers are going around getting people into work crews, and Vrentz is one of them now. So yeah, it would be quite obvious.
And have the overseers like noticed that I'm like with the healers?
One of them did, but when questioned, Confucius said that you were a healer as well.
Thank you, Confucius.
He also vouched for Taruk, and Taruk also vouched for you, and so everybody's a happy healer in that tent.
Hmm.
When we're in the line for the water with the healers, I've anyone asked or ever tried to get a little bit more water for some of the more like suffering in the crowd. Like I've noticed that there's an area where there's sickly people that are, you know, just surviving by the tread, and they definitely could use a little bit more, you know.
All right. I probably should check the other spells that I can get.
I think it's
They're not-
triage. You know, when people are too weak to survive, they don't. Unfortunately, it's sad, but it is the nature of the world that we live in.
And there's just not enough resource to share.
Like you could give them extra water and extra care, but if they continue to fail at the job, they're bound to just be put on the frame and killed anyway, right?
And how many new workers come in on a daily basis?
Well, all right. So Torben Half Giant is out collecting slaves. So he gathers up probably I don't know. Let's see. One day
Do we
he
know-
got like 15 people. Another day he got another 15. So the average is about 15 people a day.
So would you say that there's more that dies or than people that are coming in to replace them?
I would not. No, the number of people that die is like less than 15 guaranteed. Every night there might be 2 or 3 that die.
Wait, quick question.
Yeah.
Do we know what job we got stuck with yet today?
Now you're still in the morning period. You're still getting your water and getting up and
Oh.
getting ready, and the overseers are picking out crew. So Vrenza now has the option of deciding what your crew does.
Wait, can I say something to Half Giant when I'm getting my water?
Sure.
I say, hey, I call him Uya. What's his name again?
Ulialak.
How you pronounce that? I say to you. I can't do that. I say to you.
Here, I'll go through it slowly for you. Ul, 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 you, lack.
Yeah, if you spell it out like that, it helps.
Yulia.
I kind of prefer Ululac, you know.
Ulialak. Yeah, well, that's how you'd say it fast. Right?
Yulia.
The L is almost silent.
Yulia. Hey, Yulia, can I get a few drops of water? Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Come
He
on.
gives you 2
please.
drops of water. Your water skin is not very full.
No, not drops. I mean, like, gotta get another half gallon of water. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
So
Wink,
what kind of
wink. Can I roll
mood
persuasion?
is Ulialak in today? Ulialak's mood is a 6.
Ooh,
Oh
Can I
my.
roll a persuasion? Can I roll a persuasion?
Roll a
Please.
persuasion.
He woke up on the wrong side of the bed and fell off, and then a scorpion stung him in the ear. Ow, and then he got up and hit his head on the dresser.
Let's see
Then
that
he
roll.
rushed to the bed.
I'm gonna say it's about a
I think I
DC
have-
14 for him not to get angry right now.
Gives me half a gallon. Persuasion, okay. Come on, please.
You seem like a very persuasive person. I'm pretty sure you'll pull it off.
My luck hasn't been really well with persuasion. 23.
Hey, look at that.
Nice.
Uyalak grunts and gives you your half gallon and says, "Get out of line. You're bothering me. You're wasting my time."
Come on, I'm walking here.
Come on, walk in here.
All right, I get out of line. I guess the good ending was him not beating me to it.
Yep.
The good ending was him not beating me.
Okay. Over here in, let's see, in this section over here, this overseer is whipping some people, and this dwarf has had it, and he fights back, and he beats up this overseer. And some people are hooting and hollering, and this half-elf runs off over here, and Hamash says, "Get him! Get him!" And Hamash jumps in and starts beating up the overseer, too, and then a bunch of half-giant guards start pouring into the place. So people are shouting, "Riot! Riot! Riot!" All right, does anybody want to do anything while this is happening?
Wait, there's a riot going on? Okay. Wait, where is the riot exactly placed? Like, map-wise?
This area.
Now-
I guess.
I know. I've noticed that the half giants don't seem to move. Do they actually go out and work? I mean, like, are they actually moved out from their tent at the moment?
Their job is guard, so they're working as guards right now. Yeah.
I want to try to pickpocket. Wait, can I try to pickpocket one of the half giants? I feel like this
Well,
is the-
they're all
You
in
can
a
try.
march.
You'd be better off to try and get those berries for me.
I'm gonna say
since
no.
I-
The half giants are moving at a sprint, and they're going too fast. You wouldn't be able to.
okay.
What's the
Maybe in the
distance
middle of the
from,
kerfuffle, you know.
I guess Brent said a Hamash.
Sorry, what?
What's the distance between Brensa and Hamash?
Vrens, where were you? You were
I'm way the
here.
heck up here. I'm not exactly close.
You hear the alarm, and you see the half giants running in this direction, but you're a good ways away. But you see Hamash across the way getting in on this fight.
So let's see. How close is that?
Not sure.
Sorry,
Each one of these squares is about 0.5, so it's going to be half of 11.5. So it's like, I don't know, 30 feet? That can't be right.
no, that's not. You said every square is half.
So 5 feet is half, so it's double. It's double. So that's like 25.
So it's 22. 22 times 5 is 110.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Okay, so I'm in range of the sling.
Are you shooting a slingstone at Hamash? Poor Hamash.
Yeah. I mean, it's my first day on the job. I gotta show them how it's done.
Aim to impress. You take a slingshot at Hamash.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna take a called shot to his head. So instead of a +7 to hit, I'm gonna be at +2 to hit. That's my sharpshooter feat.
I'll be that guy if I'm asking you to do something.
So 18.
You hit Hamash in the head with a stone, and he's knocked out. The
Yeah, because he's gonna take 1d4 plus 15 damage.
shit.
Plus 15? How are you getting that?
+3 because of my dex, +2 because my favorite enemy is humanoids, and then a called shot is -5 to hit, +10 to damage.
Where are you at in all this? Sorry, I
Okay,
haven't seen
well,
your character.
It's a slingstone, so you can call that as non-lethal.
Yeah, it's non-lethal, but it's just a straight shot to the forehead and just knock him right out. Just
Alright.
Where did you
throw
attack him
across
from?
the yard.
From all the way across the yard, from way back
Holy
here.
shit! Over here?
Yep.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah, it's long range, but sharpshooter has 2 advantages. I
Yeah.
ignore cover, I ignore long range, and I can do called shots.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
so the half giants-
sharpshooter is awesome. Yeah.
The half giants move in. They extricate the overseer from the dog pile here. They subdue the slaves and the dwarf and Hamash, all of which will be put on the frame. Dun, dun, dun. So they get a severe beating. They get whipped a bunch of times, and they get moved to the frame. So that happens before anybody. Oh, what the hell's that? Whoa, you can hit a button and it arranges them? What the hell? I didn't know that was a
Huh.
feature.
Wow.
Interesting.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome
What I
back.
missed.
Look at
Oh
that.
my god.
Oh
You
my
you
God.
missed Ninja discovering a very, very crucial mechanic of Tabletop Simulator.
Oh, I didn't know it could do this. This is awesome.
You can
It could
play
be
you can play Total War now on this table.
Wait, what did you not know it could do? I'm confused.
I'm pressing 1, 2, and 3, and it's changing the formation. Here it's in this formation.
Oh,
here
that's
it's
so
in
useful.
This formation. Here it's in this formation.
That's
Yeah.
also useful. I didn't
How
even
much
know
took,
that.
Apparently, the only formation they don't have
Max.
is a V formation.
And you know that we could create some like field battles that would like an option like that one, you know, like with
Right.
position and all that. That'd be cool.
But onward with the story.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he actually took max non-lethal damage to the forehead, 19 damage. Non-lethal.
You just if sending stone wasn't already a spell, you sent that stone.
Yeah,
Okay.
when no one has armor, sharpshooter is pretty OP.
The beaten overseer, he approaches, and he's going to... Yeah, not you. You. Get out of here.
Oh, did you do the +10 damage with the negative of hit?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
It was non-lethal. I'm not too worried about it. He's knocked out. He has 0 HP. All right, so the overseer approaches Vrensa and says, "Oh, thank you. I was in a bad spot there had you not landed such a perfect shot from such a great distance. I'm impressed."
Well, you're quite welcome. First day on the job and all, just trying to get along.
Well, good work. I'm glad to have an ally. These slaves are getting a little rambunctious. I'm worried that some of them might be conspiring against us. We'll show them
Well,
that they
he was,
must show us respect.
He was with the Tyrion group, wasn't he?
Yes.
I say we put all the Tyrians to carrying blocks as far up that ziggurat as we can. Just to follow us in.
Why are you like this?
I like the way you
Well,
think. We'll make
it's a
those
good thing I-
Tyrians struggle. Cracks his whip.
I'm a
Good thing I'm
Tyrion.
not Tyrion.
I'm a Tyrion.
No. You're a separate work crew. You're not part of the Tyrion work crew, guys.
Yeah,
Oh.
Vrentz will single all of us out into a different group, so don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah, you're being single. You're being kind of shuffled, not exactly with the Urukites, but a little in that direction.
Well,
But at
Vrenza's
the
now the
same time-
overseer for your crew, so Vrenza can decide what job you do every day now.
Though I don't think he would exactly be the greatest of leaders due to his own personality. I know Mad
that?
God way too well, and he
Oh.
would rather see us burn, boil, and die.
Well, Mad God's not here. He's a healer now.
Yeah,
He's a healer NPC who's not here.
So, so who's in our work crew? It's Praxis.
Yep.
Soul, Norcus. So probably making bricks with perception would probably be the best for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. You guys are making bricks.
All
Up
right.
to it. Chop chop.
Bacon
Well,
bricks.
actually, there's baking bricks, and then there's the
Yeah.
actual making bricks.
He's talking about the wisdom one, though. That's baking the bricks.
Yeah, it's baking the bricks.
Right, but you could actually stick us into the cooler place with where we actually put the straw into the mud to make the brick.
Ah, yes.
Depends on the
What is
temperature
that?
during that
What's
day,
that?
you know.
What's the
Well,
Yeah,
you
I guess
won't,
I got
you won't know
questions.
until you're out working if the day's going to be super hot or not. Right now, it's still the
What-
morning
what
and it's
skills-
cool.
Well, if it's
What
super
skill is
hot,
full
then
on
making
making
us
bricks?
work the furnaces is not a good idea.
Yeah, but I won't know that this early in the morning either.
if I can get another level sometime, I can get Druidcraft, which will basically tell us what the weather will be like.
I don't think we're leveling up till we escape. To be honest, I'm not counting on that right now. What skill is forming the bricks then? I guess Ninja.
Forming bricks, wisdom, perception. Setting bricks is
well,
tool set int stonemason tools.
Let's
Hauling
do
bricks
the
is strength
forming of
athletics.
Let's do the forming of the bricks, but like the actual mud, not the furnace section.
The mixing mud.
Yeah, what's that one?
Mixing mud is strength athletics because you're just stirring mud.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are gonna be all that great at that.
All right, we'll go with the
I'd
hot
really
ovens
rather
then.
not have to whip my friends.
So
That
the
was
cool
for you
jobs
guys.
are cutting wood supports and forming or mixing the mud. Mixing the mud, they keep that in a cool indoor building so that it doesn't dry out the mud while they're mixing it. And then the wooden supports also happens inside a building that's a little cooler than the general outdoor environment.
Oh, what's
What's
the
the
wooden support
supports?
job?
That is int carpenter's tools because you're cutting wood into wooden frameworks for the ziggurats construction.
I would rather risk the wood cutting. That's just my personal preference.
So we're cutting wood.
All right.
All
well,
right, I'll send these guys to cut wood, and if I have any input, I'll send the Urukites over to mixing the mud.
And
Well-
Traxxas will outright tell you, if you need to beat me horribly, just do it.
The overseers have to oversee one job. So
I see. Okay.
you're the overseer of any one of these jobs, and then you get to have your crew work on it.
I say to
Alright.
Varenza, like half asleep. Oh, please.
Yeah. All right. You guys can go and cut wood.
And I think they already have one of the Tyrian groups doing the hauling of the bricks right now as punishment.
What is that? What is that to cut wood?
That is cutting wood supports int carpenter's tools. So it's probably just your int mod.
Unless any of you guys are good carpenters.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Hey, before they go, like I have noticed that Renzo had like the uniform and the whip on.
11.
Like I haven't seen like the fight or all that stuff, but I'm gonna find him before he leaves with the crew, if it's possible.
All right. So Soul got an 11.
Diamond also got an 11.
Diamond got an 11. Traxxas.
If you guys see me, you guys know that I can maybe help you guys with some of your roles.
Well, you're sitting
Guidance.
pretty
Guidance.
good. So you stay where you are.
No, but before you leave, I can maybe.
Yeah, that would be nice, but
Look at that. I
we'll
rolled
do
for
that.
caster and also got an 11.
we'll do that tomorrow since we all made our rolls.
Everyone got an 11. Dun dun dun.
Wait, 4 11s? That's pretty hilarious.
What's the chance
no,
that
it
happens?
was only 3. It was Traxxas, Soul, and Norcus. Everybody else is doing something else, I think.
So mediocre but passing, I guess, is what 11 is.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, 10 is an okay job. 15 would be a good job. So you're at the low end of acceptable. B minus.
Yeah, whisper to the guys. I'm gonna say, come on, guys, you're making me look bad.
If you have to, you can whip Traxxas to make an example. I can just
We gotta
heal
be-
myself.
That's good enough. A B minus is good
Traxxas
enough.
is
Right?
like, you can
Alright,
whip me
I
if you
guess
want
I
to.
will. I will whip Traxxas, and I'll make a show. I will make a show of it. I will. So let's see. So do I need to roll to hit, or are we just assuming I'm gonna hit up?
No, you're gonna hit.
Roll for damage.
So that's D4 plus 5.
Wait. +5?
Yeah,
Ah,
it's a finesse weapon, so I get +3, and you're a humanoid, so I add another 2.
Oh.
Wait, no. You have to make specifics. You can't just do humanoid. You have to pick like
No,
goblin.
it's
human.
it's the UA Ranger rules.
That's so bullshit. That's so bullshit.
and that's how your
So-
character died.
Give my
6 whipping
character at
damage.
least a moment to cast Cure Wounds before you do this, because that if you roll anything above a 1, that's me having to make death saves.
Really?
Well, I
How,
just
how many
rolled a-
hit
I
points
just
do you
rolled a 1.
have? Shit.
I have 6. I have not healed myself in the past few days because I've been
Only-
healing other people.
Yeah, you didn't rest
Decent.
last night either, so you didn't get any regular healing.
Well, I did exactly 6. So
All right, so I'm knocked
you're,
out.
you're knocked out.
Gotta make
I,
that.
I, I will
Crack
make,
out.
I'll make a show of it. I will whip
Distracted.
him.
The other
And then-
overseers look at you whipping somebody unconscious, and they nod in approval.
And I look to Norcus and Soul, and I say, "Carry him out of here."
Trax
that a
is
strength
just
check?
carried off to the healer's tents and just dumped bodily in the healer tent. Taruk Lifetaker will say, "Oh, my friend, you appear to be close to death. Would you like to have me finish you off so your suffering may come to an end?"
I'm unconscious. I can't say anything.
I think he has agreed to my my offer to.
I stop him. Hey! The man doesn't want to die today.
Are you sure?
I am 121% sure.
If you say so. Remember, though, the
What?
sweet release of death is preferable to life in servitude.
What is wrong with you? Why haven't you killed yourself yet? Then
Just make him heal me so I can heal myself. Thank you.
do you know any healing magic or something? Jeez.
He does.
Yeah.
He heals you for 2 points.
Thank you. Okay, once I regain consciousness, I'm going to use my own cure wounds to give myself an additional 1d8 plus my wisdom, which
All right.
is
Is Traxus reconsidering being whipped by Vrensa now?
nope. I specifically wanted that to happen, so
I
Vrensa
did
hits
that
hard.
on purpose.
well,
Sorry.
at least I
Brentford
don't have to
doesn't have a
worry
lot of
about
attacks,
getting
but when
whipped
they-
anymore today, thankfully.
I was gonna say Vrensa doesn't get a lot of attacks, but hers hit hard.
Right. So, since I'm in the healer's tent doing healy stuff, I assume, that would catch their attention.
All right. Confucius is going to remark, "I sense the will. Are you also a psionic? So many in so short a span of time."
Unfortunately, friend, I must say that I am a druid. I am one with nature rather than the mind, but I do understand how you might be confused.
Ah, but you are the one that is confused, for you do have the power within yourself. I can sense
Indeed.
it.
Indeed, I do have power, though it is not great enough to break free of these shackles now.
He's talking about that feat that everybody gets.
Oh, right.
The
I
psionic
see,
feat.
yes. Right, I forget the wild talent feat.
All of you
Gotcha.
are actually psionic, and he can tell. He is the master psionicist. He can tell you have potential.
Right. Traxus will say, well, you'll have to forgive my very rude intrusion coming in here unconscious. It hasn't been easy sleeping out in the slave pits.
Ah, perhaps you should become one of us, like your friend Taruk. One of us, never to leave again. All of his free will stripped away. One of us!
Damn, that got dark.
That's Taruk saying that, I'm assuming.
No, that was one of the psionicists.
One of the psionicists stripped free of my will.
They were commenting that Taruk became one of them and was stripped of his free will.
Well, I will join you, but I do not wish to give up my free will.
All right. Well, you're no longer unconscious from your whip wounds, but you need to heal up. So they're going to apply some bandages, and you have to rest for a while. The workday goes on for the full 8 hours. During that 8 hours, it was really, really hot. The temperature went way up, so everybody needs 2 gallons of water at the end of the day. Otherwise, they will get that level of exhaustion and suffer the effects of dehydration unless they can make a save.
I still have 1 gallon left.
Uh,
Now,
I
if you
do
can
have
drink
2
half of what you
gallons
need, if you can drink a full gallon, you get a save.
I want to drink 2 gallons.
If you drink
Yeah,
2
I'll-
gallons, then nothing bad will happen. That's what you need because it was hot. You need 2.
I'll make the save because I was able to rearrange my spells a little bit from last night.
I can
So
give you
in
extra
case
water.
this doesn't go as well. Oh, you give me extra water? I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I only needed an additional gallon. Are you there?
Yeah, I give you a
Okay.
gallon of water.
Okay. you went quiet, and I was worried that I might have lost connection or something. Anywho. Right. Oh, I still have my snake with me because it's not the 20. It hasn't been the full 24 hours yet. Right. I'll just. Yep. All
So
good.
it's a DC 15 con save if you can only drink 1 gallon today.
Long gave me an extra gallon, so I'm good.
All right. Did anybody not get enough water?
As a healer, could I go and get some additional one for?
Yeah, in
For
the
the
healer's tent, you're provided with enough water. Don't worry about it there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably just Sol is the only one that's out with limited water right now.
I grab a little bit more, and then I try to find the crew if I can see them.
I mean, technically, Caster might be having issues, but Caster's an NPC right now, so I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, Traxxas will. So this is meal time, I'm assuming.
Yeah. You finish your work, everybody enters back into the yard and starts eating their meal. Their meal of disgusting worm-riddled gruel.
All right. I want to go and see if I can get a hold of that former overseer and see if he's got the goods.
Okay. You're going to go
I
meet...
want to.
the
Can I
half
go
giant.
with him?
If you want.
Can I go with him? Yeah, I want to go with
Yes.
him.
Traveling in numbers would be best. And since it's only mealtime, I still have my snake with me. So, huzzah!
Plus, the nice thing about the party moving together is that you can talk to each other and have conversations, and it won't be metagaming.
Yeah.
Well, who's coming with me?
Saya. So,
So,
Gerard.
okay,
me.
you're.
Yeah, if you see me, you can pull me. But I'm trying to go to where the overseer are,
Oh,
so I can talk to Vrensa.
okay. Then I guess I am traveling on my own, which is fine. I mean, well, I'm not exactly on my own. I have my sand snake with me.
Hang on. Sol's going with him, right?
Yeah. Sol is there. I think.
Oh, I thought you were going to the overseers.
No, I'm not Sol. I'm
Grimorn.
Grimoire.
Right. Okay. So, yep. All right,
No,
here.
no, you have that backwards again. Sol is with you. Grimorn is over there.
Oh,
Yeah. But
You want me to not come that bad? Jeez.
all I'm saying is that like I would have left like the tent of the healers to try to see the overseer too, so I can see Vrensa. So you could like has me on the way.
You
right.
not want me to come with you so bad? Jeez.
Well, Soul, Traxxas will tell you that if all goes well, we'll have a little bit of extra healing.
Hang on. There's a
I'm
split
listening.
here. So, Grimorn, you are crossing the yard when you see 2 groups. Vrensa and Chkrarin are over with the overseers. They're making sure all of the slaves enter the yard before they go to the overseer building. So you have one opportunity to run over there and talk to Vrensa before Vrensa leaves the yard. Or you could try to catch up with the other members of your group, which are heading in that direction towards the half-giant encampment. Which do you choose?
Are they this far when I see them?
You see their backs in the distance as they're walking away. You'd have to run to catch up to them.
Oh, this is getting late. I'm gonna go and help and see if I can catch up to them.
Okay.
And,
All right.
and Brent's gonna catch up with Hakan real quick before all of the overseers exit for the night.
Okay.
But we can do that after their thing.
You're gonna linger in the yard and go over to the Urukite camp. That's fine.
Hey, so when I catch you guys, I'm all probably winded.
Do those have giants have katanas, or is that bows?
Wait for me.
They have sticks. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the have giants on the wall.
Oh, those guys. Yeah, they have obsidian half giant sized greatswords.
Ow.
Yeah, if they hit you with those, it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be surprised if we didn't.
Okay, so the former overseer, he's going to meet up with Traxus. He's thankful that you healed him, and he asks what he can do for you. You wanted berries, right? He's going to tell you the berries, they're guarded. There's a woman, she won't let me get near them. She says, these are my berries, and only I can take care of them. And I said, well, come on, I just need a couple. And she said, no. And I tried to go for them, and she hissed at the ground, and a snake jumped at me, and I don't want to get bit by a venomous snake over some berries. I don't know, perhaps I could get near the bush sometime when she's not looking, but I'm huge, and I'm kind of clumsy, so she'd probably notice, or that damn snake would.
Snake on a stick. That sounds pretty
I'll,
good to me.
I'll call my snake. I will do an animal handling sometime here, but I'll call my snake out and say she's not the only one who is good with snakes.
It hasn't quite been 24 hours yet, so your snake is still charmed.
Yes. So I'll bring out my snake and have him wrapped around my arm and say, she's not the only one who is good with snakes. If I could get close, I might be able to change that snake's mind.
Well, you druids can hash it out with each other. Maybe talk to her yourself.
That would be great. Your half-giant friends didn't exactly take too kindly to my last visit, so if you can put in a good word for me so that I might be able to speak with her, then that would be appreciated.
We could try. Follow me. He leads the way.
I can always try to distract as well if you need.
Wait. So okay, are we gonna kill something?
No.
Damn it.
The half-giant leads you towards the back of the half-giant encampment. There are several half-giants nearby. One of the half-giants is going to turn, and he's going to say, oh, runt, what are you bringing these humies into our territory for? And he says, I'm no runt. And this one says, you're a runt. And he throws mud at him, and it hits him, and he lurches back. And he says, oh, you bastard. And they get into a tussle. And then this half-giant's laughing at him and kicks sand on them. There's a fight going on. You guys are standing around. Do you want to do anything?
Are they all distracted by these guys?
These guys are laughing at these two wrestling around on the ground there.
So if we move towards kind of this direction, do they seem to notice?
You're
gotta make a
sneaking
stealth
around
check.
to the side.
Stealth?
All right. This half-giant will notice you moving in that direction and will step in the way and says, where do you think you're going?
Oh, we're getting a better view of this fight, the scuffle here.
Okay.
We've been betting our friends over here on who's going to be winning this, the grunt or the other one.
You want to bet?
Yeah, I have half a pint of water if you want.
Half a pint?
Yeah,
You mean a half a gallon?
half a gallon.
All right.
Half a pint. That's so little. Half a pint.
He'll also bet half a gallon. Who are you betting for?
I'm for the grunt, the ex-overseer.
Oh, you
Why
think he's
not?
gonna win? I'll bet against that. All right. So he's betting on the other half giant to win over the ex-overseer.
I'm going to try and tip the odds in our favor here. I'm going to
Yeah,
have
me
it
too.
at ready cure wounds, just in case the ex-overseer starts getting beat up a little bit too much.
So you're gonna like go over and touch him, or are you
No.
gonna
I don't need
healing
to.
word?
No. I use cure wounds. I don't need to touch.
Also, I'm also going to wait in our favor, and I'm going to cast. I'm going to cast Distant Whispers on the
Touchstone?
larger. I'm going to cast Distant Whispers on the giant that's not the Overseer.
All right.
Just similar
And
to
I will cast Aid on our friend, the Overseer.
also, the components are only verbal, so can I try to hide it?
Are you gonna like whisper them?
Yeah, it's just literally a whisper. That's all
Yeah.
that, and then that's 3d6 psychic damage.
All right. You try to be low key about it.
So yeah, and I try to do the same tier, and I want to cast Aid on the Overseer, and then then the other ones I'll cast them on because I can cast it on three targets, I guess.
Okay.
On myself and Traxxas, since he's been taking quite a beating today.
The Overseer wins and defeats the other half giant.
Ha!
I didn't.
Did I have to use my cure wounds?
Do I have to roll
Well, I have to roll a save, I believe.
for Distant Whispers? Yes.
Yeah, and he failed.
So let me see the damage. Just really quickly out of curiosity.
All right.
6.
So you do a bunch of damage with Dissonant Whispers,
13.
which destroys his morale, and Traxxas applies some healing to the Overseer, so he's healed up from all the punches that he takes in the fight. And eventually he's able to out-wrestle the larger half-giant and win the fight. However, when you win, this giant says, "Ah, you fucking cheater," and he just walks away without giving you any water.
How could he tell? Was it that obvious?
Not you, but Grimorn was standing right next to him, casting a divine spell against his the person he was betting
I
on.
say, whoa, you can't do that. What are you talking about? Give me my water.
He just
And
glares
what
at
do
you.
you know? I'm a religious. I'm a religious man, and I was only praying for luck for my friend.
That's not how
What do you-
betting
what do
works.
you-
I
Oh,
know
what do
magic
you
when
know
I
of that?
see it. I've seen a priest cast a spell. Cheater.
Seen the priest cast a spell? If I catch you on fire, now you'll really know what a power is.
He reaches
And then
behind
I
his
use-
back where he
I-
might have something hidden.
I use a thaumaturge and I raise my voice there like super loud in his face, and I talk in giant. I say, "You're just a stealer, and you gotta give me my water right now."
He stamps his feet and shouts
And,
over and over again, "I won't pay a cheater. I won't pay a cheater."
I flash him with a flame in the face.
He
What
draws
is
a very
going on?
large stone dagger from behind his back and threatens you with it with an intimidation roll.
And I cast my eyes on fire, and I still have the loud voice.
You're gonna make your wooden shiv catch fire.
I am trying to
That's
distract him, and then
That's what I was going to ask. Since these guys are a little bit distracted,
Yeah.
can you Overseer get us to the back of the bush?
All right, so you're circling around while all this is going on. There's
and another one real quick another thing I want to add. Do I see the crates of food and all that stuff?
yeah, the crates are out in front of the.
Oh,
the
so,
half-giant
okay,
tent.
so is there a lid that seems to be kind of a little bit open?
Oh yeah, several of the crates are open. Some of the supplies
Okay,
have been moved into the
so
building.
my third ability of thaumaturge, like I have some of these lids just like fly way off in the air to distract the other giants, and this one too.
Mm.
What are you guys gonna do about that lady over there?
I'll,
Woman.
I'll try and put
character.
some moves on.
You're gonna try to flirt with her?
No, I'm just gonna try and talk. Is all. That's
Wait,
all.
I
what
guess
lady
that's sort
though?
of something that thaumaturgy can do. It can cause an unlocked door or window to fly open or slam shut. Sure.
Mhm.
Can I talk to the Overseer? The former Overseer?
Yeah, but hang on a second. Let's do this first. So, Soul, you're sneaking around to the bush.
So does that work?
So-
Sorry, Ninja, I didn't hear. There was a little bit of noise. So does that work? The lids flying off?
It does, yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Ninja, I think you got the wrong person. I'm not the one sneaking around the bus.
Traxxas does that.
I know. I said one thing at a time because Traxxas was already going over here. So hang on. Wait. Traxxas, Diamond.
Yes.
You approach the bush. So at the bush, there's a woman. And the woman's got a snake next to her, coiled around her leg. She looks up and sees you, and she says, "Oh, not again. Nobody's getting my berries."
I do a bow and I show off my snake and I said, "Do not worry, I am but a friend."
I have no friends but the plants and the snakes.
I as well.
Then you understand I must protect this bush with my life.
I do. I only ask very nicely that I might be able to help perhaps cultivate another of these bushes.
You want to make a cutting to try to attempt to grow another bush. This is acceptable, but let me check on the health of my bush. My precious bush. She fondles her bush, rubs her fingers across her bush to determine the health of each leaf. I roll a 15, and she's got like +7 on that, and she determines that this is a healthy bush. And she says, all right, maybe just a small cutting. She pulls out a delicate dagger, and she very, very cautiously trims ever so slight a piece from the shaft of the plant. And she carefully gathers some soil, some of the greenest soil that she could find, and she like gathers the little shoot that she's cut off around the soil, and she very carefully and gently hands it off to you and says, "Guard it with your life."
I will indeed. But may I ask just for a single berry so that I might be able to heal my wounds with good berry?
Unfortunately, my berries are not yet ripe. I'll know when the bush is ready to give of its fruit.
I understand. Thank you very much. Your generosity will not go without gratitude.
All right.
All right.
Wait,
And then
why do
I
you need a
will...
berry to do good berry. You need mistletoe for that.
Oh, mistletoe? Oh. Oops.
Yeah, I'm like, that's
Well,
the,
I mean, where are you going to find
component.
mistletoe in Dark
A desert.
Sun?
I don't know.
In the slave pits, it's a good question.
No, in Dark Sun in general, where are you going to find mistletoe?
I don't
So-
know where we find this berry bush.
So if you look at the city of Tyr on, it's kind of hard to see on this map here, but the city of Tyr is actually surrounded by farmland. So they would grow a lot of herbs and spices and other useful things in the crops that they grow around the city.
Right, but mistletoe is a parasitic plant. That's something that they wouldn't want.
Except that it's very useful to druids, so druids would cultivate it.
True. You have a point there. But I will take this offering and I will go.
All right.
So, I mean, it's mission accomplished so far as I'm concerned.
So I see him like step back there.
Okay, so now back to Sol. So Sol, you talk to the Overseer, who's just won his match. He's a wrestling champ, gaining some respect among the half-giants. What do you say? Sol? See ya? Did he leave? AFK? Shit.
See ya.
He might have. He's
Oh,
he got
he's
disconnected.
Oh no.
Oh, see
Internet
ya.
problems. Oh, he's back.
You there?
Hello. See ya.
See,
You having Discord problems? Hello.
Seems that way.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
right.
It's your turn now.
Hello there. What's your name again?
Traxxas.
I'm talking to overseas.
No, I mean the half giant overseer.
Oh,
Oh, I'm gonna be.
Ninja, does he not have a name? Does he not?
He's just called like the overseer and half giant.
His name is Babungus.
Bungus?
Babungus.
Bungus. Does he tell me that?
Former Overseer Babungus, at your service. Wrestling champion.
Ah, yes. Well, I have a question for you. Do you enjoy being, in captivity?
I was born into captivity. Me first master was a kind and gentle man, but he died, and I was then sold to another master who was a cruel wizard. Fortunately, the cruel wizard was a threat to Kalik, and was assassinated. After that, they offered me a position in the Half Giants Guard. However, I was caught stealing from some of the overseers, and they cast me down into the slave pits. But since I was one of them, they offered me to become the overseer when another overseer was doing a poor job. And so I found myself as an overseer for the past few weeks, until recently when all these horrible requirements. You know, when I could just whip a slave occasionally and get them to work, it was fine. But now when I need them to work double shifts and perform tremendous amounts of work like never before, they just can't do it. And so, yeah, here I find myself cast back into slavery.
Would you like to get out of this predicament?
Out? What would I do?
That depends. What you tell me.
I've never not had a master. What would it be like? Who would tell me what to do?
Picture is drinking as much water as you want, eating as much food as you need, sleeping, and not needing to wake up to do anything unless you want to, of course.
Where would
Of
I
course,
get
there
it,
are some
though?
guidelines.
All the water belongs to the sorcerer kings. Where would I even get water?
Now that I can't tell you, but I need you to answer a couple questions for me,
Well, he's waiting.
if possible.
What do you say?
Was there any information that you picked up about Calic while you were overseer? Anything around the tent going around?
He
What's
thinks
the point
about
behind
it.
that huge cigarette?
He thinks about it for a long minute. Calic is a mighty and powerful sorcerer king. He seems to want to demonstrate how glorious he is with his mighty ziggurat, and
Is that
with
the
his
only
with his games, the entertainment. I suppose if you've lived for 1,000 years, you need to entertain yourself, and gladiator tournaments are very entertaining.
Is that all you know?
So, since he's so powerful, he needs a shrine to his power to demonstrate how much of a god he is over us mere mortals.
So he's building a shrine.
The
To
ziggurat,
himself?
just look at it. Something so massive, so huge. It demonstrates how powerful he truly is.
Just out of curiosity, what would happen if the ziggurat were to be finished?
Well, the ziggurat has to be finished before the games. That's what's said. At the completion of the ziggurat, they will have a great grand ceremony, a gladiator tournament, parade. Everybody in town is commanded to be at the arena during the games at the commencement ceremony of the opening of the grand ziggurat. It's supposed to be the biggest event that's happened in decades.
Really?
Yes.
Any other information you can tell me that doesn't happen to a Calic? What about the Templars? Anything on them?
The Templars are scary. They have such powers. Calic gives them his own power, and so they can command the arcane energies. They can cast spells and magic. I'm a bit fearful of sorcery, I'll have you know. I only trust what I can hold in my own two hands. Pulling strange energies out of the air seems unnatural.
Understandable. I hate casters as well.
Plus, it's what destroyed this world. Defilers, corruptors.
I wouldn't say that. But anyway.
I'm
that all
definitely
you
not
know?
one of those casters that you're talking about. Definitely not.
Is there anything else you can tell me?
Yeah, he doesn't know too much. If you have a specific question, he might be able to answer it, but off the top of his head, he can't think of anything that would be useful to you.
What is directly outside those gates? Trims her butt. Question mark?
Gates. What are you talking about? The entrance to
The slate, yeah,
the slave pit?
Yes, like what's directly outside of that?
Okay. Well, outside the slave pits, there is the brickyards. I'll put it on stream. So you are in the slave pits. You are in the southeast corner of the slave pits. The exit goes out the north middle part into the brickyards. The brickyards go across to where all of the bricks are made and manufactured, and all the wooden supports. A lot of the buildings that have to do with ziggurat construction are up in here. The half-giant army is encamped around the slave pits here. The 500 half-giants and the guards, they all basically are encamped here. The The Templar in charge of the slave pits is in this mansion here. It used to be an inn, but it's been repurposed into the Templar overseeing the slave pits' private quarters here. Then you've got the market district off in that direction. Across the way from the slave pits is the ziggurat itself, the mighty ziggurat. The Gladiator Stadium is off to the northwest, across the common parts of the city here. These are probably like middle class buildings here. A lot of merchant houses and stuff. And then the noble district beyond that, where you see the giant golden tower that Calic lives in, way off there.
Okay. Thank you for your input. But one other question.
Yeah.
Anyone I should know by name from outside the slave pits?
Torben Half-Giant is the leader of the Half-Giant Guards.
Torben. How do you spell that? Torbjorn?
Torban, I think. Torben.
Torban. Anyone else? Wait, what is Torbjorn known for?
Torbjorn, I think that comes from Game of Thrones or something. I forget.
Overwatch.
Overwatch, is that what it is? Yeah, I don't play Overwatch. I've heard it before.
What I miss?
Just some discussion about the local area. He's talking to the overseer about what he knows.
Trying to get as much information before the rebellion starts.
Learned his name is Babungus.
Babungus.
Kind of funny because Torbjorn's a dwarf. It's just
Torbjorn the Half-Giant. Is that all? Really?
Well, what more do you want? He's not very bright. He's an overseer. He's a half-giant. He doesn't know much outside of his life as a half-giant slave.
Alrighty. Alright.
They're sort of born into this life, and it's all they know.
Oh, alright. That'll be all.
Alright.
Hey, would you like some water?
No, you're offering some of your dwindling supply of water to this half-giant.
Yeah, I want to give him half a gallon.
Alright.
Thank you for answering my questions.
Let me make a note, because he'll appreciate that. Water is, offering water to somebody is a big deal.
Hopefully with this cutting, I can start cultivating a berry bush at the healer's tent.
Alright, so you guys have made an ally. Babungus considers both Sol and Traxxas to be friends of his now.
Not me. Like what?
You've not even talked to him, so...
I know. I bet on him though.
Like, you walked by. I guess he knows you're here.
I am just bagging allies today. First the Orokites, now this guy.
Yeah, the Orokites are plotting against the city, so anybody who's going to help them plot to overthrow Calic is a friend of them.
I wonder who else I can get allies. All right, I wrote all that. Well, I didn't write. I wrote the important stuff down. But yeah,
probably not the elves. You've discovered that the elves really don't like anybody that's not in their tribe, not even other elf tribes. In fact, if you look here, I've now split all of the elves into individual elf tribes. There's now 4 groups. This group, this group, this group, and this group, and they don't get along. But they get along with each other more than they get along with the others, so they're still in the same general quarter of the yard here.
Are you serious, Ninja? Are you serious?
What?
Ebola?
Yeah, I was naming them all after diseases. So we've got rabies, Ebola, Hunta.
Hunter. All right. Is that everyone? Did everyone do their thing?
Yes.
I'm still yelling, I guess, to this half-giant.
Oh, finish that. Yeah, I want to see how this goes. You guys going to fight?
No.
There's probably going to be a fight.
No, they just
Look how well I handled it last time.
This half-giant's just going to get fed up with arguing with you, and he's just going to retreat into the tent. And the tent is guarded, so nobody's going to let you into the tent.
So yeah, I see how it is. Can't even handle a half-elf. That's fair enough anyway. I did my work, so go to Yeah, I go back to you guys, and I go to Saul and say, "Hey, I have a little bit of extra water if you need." We get
Oh,
as
really?
much. We get quite a bit of resources out of the ealing tent, so that's probably more useful for you. So I give you like the half gallon that I bet on.
Thank you.
Demonstrating
that
some
might
useful
help.
ability certainly gets you a few perks here in the slave pens.
And I'll see if I can get you some maybe some covers or something for the nighttime.
I appreciate it.
One thing that you might want to do is you might want to find a good spot to sleep at night. Like, I don't think I can get you with us in the tent, but there might be a group that can help you, or you might be able to stay near one of the tents where we are at. And
Traxxas will offer up his blanket to Soul so that Soul has a little bit more insulation.
yeah, if you get in trouble, maybe stay near us, and then we
Hey,
might be able to help you out at night. It's really dangerous out there, I think.
thank you. I appreciate it from you both.
And you, Traxxas, how are you doing? You've been beat up quite a bit too, huh?
Well, thankfully, I won't have to worry about that much longer, as I'll freely be able to sleep inside the tent here, so I'll be able to get my spells back.
Aren't you at 2 hit points?
No, I'm actually at 5 because I used one thing of Cure Wounds on me.
So I'll cast a Cure Wound on you. while you're there.
I'm also going to cast Cure Wounds.
Oh shoot.
Everybody has cure wound.
Everybody has Cure
So-
Every
Wounds.
single
Wait,
person
no.
has
Actually, I don't have Cure Wounds. I have something better. I have Healing Wounds.
Little question on Cure Wounds. Okay, when you're casting it, it's like 1d8 plus 4. What is the bonus though? Do I have a bonus for my wisdom?
I don't think there
That's
is
a
one
plus
on cure.
That is the bonus though. That's Cure Wounds is 1d8
Okay.
plus your Wisdom modifier.
Oh, so I just rolled a 1, so you get 5 healing from my wound.
And
Right.
also, Healing Word does 1d4 plus my spell casting ability modifier. Where would that be on the character sheet?
For a
Ninja.
bard, it's charisma, isn't it?
Yes. So just my charisma score?
Yeah. Well, your charisma modifier, whatever that is.
Right. I'll cast one more doll of Cure Wounds on myself since I don't have to worry about.
But
losing my spells.
I did also earlier. I give you aid.
I'll give you 7.
So I don't know if it heals you, but it raises your max heal point by 5. So I guess it gives you an extra
No,
5. But
Those are
The-
temp hit points, so they expire if they're not used to shield your actual hit points.
okay, well, at least for 8 hours, you're gonna feel a little better.
Well, if you get whipped or something during the 8-hour period, it's useful.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you still have it at least, Plus
Oh.
Although
plus
it's
the 5 I
nighttime,
healed
so
you
you're
with.
probably not going to get whipped during the night.
Also,
Yeah, I was going to say I will use Lesser Restoration since I was able to switch that out since last night.
Wow, Long's ping is really bad right now. You okay, Long?
Yeah,
I no
I'm
longer
hearing
have
all of you
exhaustion.
guys just fine. I'm just chilling in the tent.
I'm just looking at your
Fine.
number go all the way
I
up to
am listening to you guys.
999, and it's like, whoa.
That's
And
the
before
whole
it-
second.
and before it gets too late, can I look for what's her name? Like the one that told me about the uprising.
Milana. Milana's in
She,
the
like-
kitchens.
Kitchen.
She's over here if you want to go talk to her. And grab your figurine. So after your stuff
Don't
over here, you
forget.
dash across the yard.
Yeah, we'll go back. Oh, but on the way back, I asked Traxxas, "What are you gonna do with with those berries? What are you planning?"
I don't have
Yeah,
berries.
have
I have a
berries, yes.
cutting.
Oh,
I have a
Twig.
cutting, but it's enough of a cutting that I can actually start another bush, and I'm going to start it in the right outside of the
maybe behind.
it needs sunlight. Yeah, behind.
Yeah, you don't want people to just sneak in at night.
Right. So
Yeah, good plan.
Yep.
I hope the distraction worked well for you.
it did. I mean, I don't know exactly how long I'll be able to boost the growth of it with Druidcraft, but I can. I'll see what I can do.
Well, let me know if you need some help.
All right, see ya. Soul
Alright.
goes across the yard and finds Milana over by the kitchens. Milana is scrubbing some pots in the back. The big half-giant cook is shouting orders at her various dwarven women. They're running around. They've got all sorts of like food stuff spattered on their aprons and in their lady beards, and they're running around taking orders from the half giant cook, who's demanding that they clean all the cook pots and the cookware and make sure that all the things are prepared for the next day. And Milana, she's rubbing some flour from her forehead, and she's carrying a cook pot by, and you manage to catch her for a moment as she's walking past the door. Oh, it's you. What's up?
Hey, I got some useful information. So blah blah. I explained what he explained to me.
Okay, so you talk about the locations of the half giants and the Templar that runs the slave pits, and the different areas of town around here.
The festival, the ziggurat, the other stuff. Yeah.
All right, that's good information, she says. I'll try to pass that along to the people that I know and see if any of it's useful, and I'll get back to you. I've also heard that there's a group. You might try meeting up with them. I only have one name. Keep it secret. The name is Grange. Granj. Grange.
What race?
I don't know. All I have is a name, but he's somebody you can trust.
Any other information? What is he known for?
I don't know anything else, but somebody passed along this. So if they said if somebody needs a contact, that Grange can help.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Okay.
How do you spell Grange? Is it just Grange?
Yeah.
No,
with a J at the end. Granj.
Granj. All right, got it.
All right, she's gonna slip you a loaf of bread, and then she's gonna go back to work before the half giant notices.
I have 3 loaves of bread.
Have you never been eating those?
I've been eating the 2 pounds of food. I have 3 loaves of bread.
You're like, why would I eat these delicious loaves of baked bread when I can eat this gruel full of worms and human meat?
I save it. It'll come in handy. Trust me.
I like human meat.
Are there any elf meats?
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
But the bread is to soak all the juices out of that human meat, you know.
Actually, the elves are pretty tough, so it's mostly the Tyrian, like the sickly Tyrians that couldn't deal with the exposure. They might have had cushier former lives before falling into slavery, and then their bodies aren't just cut out for this kind of like tedious work every day and are failing. Maybe nobles, former nobles who have fallen from grace and been cast into slavery. They're like, my body's not cut out for this, I'm dying.
All right, that's all I want to do.
All right. So, night falls, everybody's finished their meals, and they're bedding down.
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, Cycle Frog.
Yeah, I want to talk to Hakan.
Okay.
Before we
Great.
got 2. So before evening falls, before and Brentwood follows the rest of the overseers, she pulls Hakan to the side. Hopefully, he made himself available for my earlier message, like
Yeah.
somewhere off to the side.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, when you
Let's say,
find him, he's over here sitting on this rock, watching the people on the frame.
okay, so managed, as you can see, to get into the good graces of the Templars.
You got yourself an overseer position. That could be useful.
It is. Obviously, I'll have to play along. Won't always be able to be completely gentle on the rest of the Urakites, but I'll see what I can do to help.
If you can get outside the walls, you might be able to get us some contraband. We're in dire need of specific items, weapons mostly. If you could get us arms that we could conceal for the time when the time is right to strike, if we could already have weapons prepared in advance, it would really be beneficial. I've already
I'll see what I
crafted
can-
several myself, but if you could bring some, that would help, because there's a lot of us.
I'll see what I can do. I don't quite have free access, I don't think, to the city, nor do I have any money to purchase any arms. But I'll see what I can do in terms of keeping an eye out.
I suppose that's right. They wouldn't
Um,
let you just go walking off into the elven market. They probably have
No,
guards that keep an eye even on you.
They do. I might the Templars seemed interested in knowing any and all information about uprisings and so forth.
Well, they would, wouldn't
Perhaps.
they? Because we're planning one. And he
Uh,
laughs.
Well, I said
What?
yes, but if we fed them information about some of the other groups, perhaps the elves are always squabbling amongst each other. No one writes them anyways, or the Tyrians might
The elves
be
have
able to
never
earn
plotted
myself
an
some-
escape. The elves seem content to live out their lives in servitude here. The Urakites, I've heard they've planned several escapes. Most have been foiled. Or
You mean
not-
the Tyrians?
the Tyrians, I mean.
Yeah. Well, if you hear anything, you could pass it. I'll keep an ear to the ground as well. But if we can feed the Templars some information about the other groups, perhaps I can increase my privileges and gain a bit more freedom of movement.
Let's think strategically, though. If we sell out the other rebel groups, then they won't be able to help us in the uprising. So
True,
maybe
but
instead of fingering the actual group, maybe finger somebody who's expendable.
well, that's what I was thinking. Is rather than a large actual plot, if we see some disgruntled folks, we might be able to get them to say something unwise.
If it's somebody
That
who
would
wouldn't be
be
useful
against
to
them.
our own escape attempt, that would be fine.
Yes, yes.
Preferably a Tyrion, because we don't like them.
Oh, somebody's got a call.
So,
You guys can hear that? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was
anyways, did you?
out of game. I was already planning on making coin, but it could probably get you some coin weapon later.
And then before I head off, I say it was nice watching the Tyrians go and climb all the way up that ziggurat in the hot sun today.
He has a good laugh at this, and he says, "It serves him right. We're gonna tear that ziggurat down. It's a real eyesore. Kalik doesn't deserve it.
We've
Kalik doesn't
We've
hold a
got a-
candle to the glory that is Hanuman."
Does Hanuman have a ziggurat?
What does Hanuman have? I don't know.
he's got the laws. He's got that code of laws. I think that's his big achievement, if I recall correctly.
Well,
But I tell Hakan, yes, well, our timeline is very short. Apparently, the Templars are under orders to have this ziggurat completed within, what was it that you told me,
A week.
2 weeks? And then a week.
It's currently
It's already
1
the
week
second week.
away. You're on the first
Yeah,
first day
so-
of the second week is starting up.
So I think if we need to do something before the end of this week, because if that ziggurat's not completed by the end of the week,
Actually, this is the night
I think,
the night of day 1 of week 2. So in the morning it'll be day 2.
okay. So basically, I tell them we've got till the end of the week to act, or either the ziggurats will be completed and whatever he's got planned will come to fruition, or it won't, and they may very well purge the slave pits.
I'm looking at a thing about Uruk. Apparently Hanuman has like wonders. He makes various wonders and his city is quite glorious.
The Hanging Gardens of not Babylon.
However, it will eventually be destroyed by a great earthquake, but it hasn't happened yet. So currently Uruk is like the flower of the desert. It's got like the hanging gardens and it's very fabulous.
All right.
Also, Hamanu, the leader of Uruk, he's not like Kalik. Like Kalik is obviously like an insane narcissist. Hamanu is much more of like a wise ruler. He's one of the more respected sorcerer kings, and he generates like a lot of loyalty among his Templars. And I've been trying to play Hakan like that. Like Hakan loves Hamanu. Like Hamanu is his god, and he will do anything to defeat Kalik for the glory of his sorcerer king.
Okay.
It is downright devotion. So that's the level he's on. Okay. I was reading a little bit. I might have missed something there. What was the last thing you said?
Oh, I was just telling Hakan that we've got a timeline till the end of the
1
week.
week. Right. Okay.
Right. If
Okay.
we need to act before then, because either the ziggurat will be completed and the Sorcerer King's plans will come to fruition, which obviously is not going to be good, or the ziggurat's not complete and they may very well purge the slave pits. So we've got about 6 days to act one way or the other.
All right. We've managed to improvise some weapons. We've got a variety of staffs and sticks and stone daggers, but it's not going to cut it. We need swords. If we could get our hands on real weapons, that would really help.
I can help with that.
I can help with that too if they give me some of their staves.
It's like, here, I'll get you some weapons if you give up all of yours to me right now.
Well, the nice thing about druids is that little spell called Shillelagh.
Just give us any raw material. We can do some damage.
Shalinga?
No, it's pronounced Shillelagh.
Ukulele.
Shalinga.
Salinga. Salinga. That's how it's
That's
pronounced, right?
So it's like calling that one restaurant Chipotle.
Chipotle?
That's what my dad does.
I love
Vince,
that. Chipotle.
you're done. You're done and good with your stuff.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, then I'm going to get Orin, and as I'm planting this, I'm going to tell Orin, I managed to get a cutting. Now, it's going to take a lot of work to get this to bloom and have berries, but with your help, I think both of us together can get this bush to grow.
I was a farmer before they enslaved me. I know how to raise crops even in the harsh soils of the desert.
Good. At least, and it's like I said, your ability as a farmer will definitely come in handy now that I have this cutting.
But this soil is terrible, and we don't have enough water.
I can probably siphon off a bit of my water to feed the plant.
If we could get some rags, we could put them under the soil to retain some of the moisture throughout the day. And we need a shady spot that also helps retain the moisture, I think.
Well, maybe over here would work. It's got a little bit of shade when the sun comes up.
There's a space in between the wall and the tents, the blue tents that nobody's using.
Do I hear them? Am I too like?
Well, we're not exactly whispering to one another.
Yeah, I guess if you're just hanging out in the area, if you're nearby, sure.
Well, I'll say, there's one thing that I know that grows plants, and maybe I can help with that. If we could make some potash, but for that I need some wood. I need to burn the wood, and then we pass it through water. And
I have Traxxas will take out the oak stake that they had and said, "I have this."
It's not very much wood, though.
It's a really good. No, I'll need probably a little bit more than that, but
A lot of people here have walking sticks. You might be able to get one from somebody.
with potash, that's a fertilizer, and it helps the plant to grow.
Right. Well, first off, I'm going to, but before the spell wears off, I'm going to get this put right into here, and then I'm going to redo my animal friendship on the sand snake so that I can use animal handling to try and get the snake to be my companion.
Well, let me know if you get her something. We can maybe go to the kitchen and borrow a pot.
Oh, right. I can also use Druid Craft to actually get it to take root and bloom just a little bit. It won't have berries, but it'll bloom just a little bit enough.
Does this model actually show up? Can you see this?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah. So with Druidcraft, that'll allow it to be able to take root and bloom a little bit. No berries yet, though. Then Animal Friendship, which I just looked up, I can actually use at any time on snakes. It's an unlimited number of times I can use it on snakes. And then I'll make my animal handling roll to see if I can get this snake to be my companion.
Do you water it? How much water do you add?
I add a full gallon of
1 gallon.
water.
Okay.
Since I get enough water, if someone can keep siphoning water to me, I can get this plant growing.
Where you going to plant it, though?
Also do that.
Location-wise.
It's here in the corner.
Another, just right there in the same space. Okay.
What do
Okay,
you mean
so
another?
When
Orin. I'm gonna put Orin over here.
when I hear that, like I go to the gladiator tent.
Yeah.
And I ask the gladiator for a little bit of attention. I say, look, we are trying to grow some herbs, and those are medicinal, and they're going to be helping for healing. And
Gregor
we need to-
says, "You're gonna grow some herbs. I haven't had a good smoke in ages."
not these kind of herbs. Maybe we can get someone to sneak some of these type of herbs, but we do have medicinal
No,
plants that we want
make
to grow.
smoking herbs for me. Make them now.
Be patient. Be patient. If we protect this plant, and I would.
I demand 1 million smoking herbs, otherwise
God.
I'll blow up the
No,
moon.
oh my god! I just noticed the face of it. That guy.
I
Wait,
want
what is-
$1 bajillion dollars.
And then he does a very long evil laugh.
But if I could ask for a favor, it's just please don't let people go and get it. I'm not asking you to guard it, but don't let some of the thieves and the people that you see. We will put it in a kind of a safe place near the tents, but I'd be very appreciative if you could help a little bit.
What's in it for me if I protect your plant?
More
Extra
healing, and if you talk to me before a fight, an important one, maybe I can help you in your fight.
Oh, you'll give me a performance-enhancing edge. I like this. I like this
Mhm.
plan. He pokes you in the chest and says, "We're going to be fast friends, you and I." Yeah, sure. I'll keep an eye out. If any thieves try to snatch up your plant in the night, I'll pummel them.
Thank you, and well, thank you very much. I won't ask for more for now, but I very much appreciate. Yeah, you guys have a nice evening.
Okay. So Orin says, "We need some wood and we need some rags. This amount of water should be good, but in the hot temperatures of the noonday sun, all the water that you've added could just evaporate away. We need to keep it from draining. It does have enough shade here that it won't evaporate completely.
Could add more water.
Yeah, you can always add more water, but the plant needs as much water as any of you do."
Right. Let me think. Well, I could tear off a bit of my garments, make my my skirt a little bit shorter. Though that would pose a problem for my sand snake.
Orin suggests that you could probably get some rags out in the slave pit somewhere. There's always somebody who's dead that doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah, you have a point there. All right. We'll convene on getting a rag in the morning.
All right.
And if we could find some better soil, that'd help a lot.
I did get a little bit of good soil with the cutting,
Yeah.
so
Very small amount, just enough
Is
for the
there-
cutting.
Is there another way? Maybe we can find more.
well, if I had the ability to use plant growth, we would have berries instantaneously. Unfortunately, that's a 3rd level spell.
We'll have to look around and ask around, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll figure things out. But right,
Well,
animal friendship on the sand snake, and then my animal handling roll.
Okay.
I did ask the gladiator to help us guard the plant too, as well.
Appreciate it.
Can we use mold earth to dig up some and find like some more, what is it? Like more nutritional dirt underneath the sands?
No, unfortunately, this area is just it's just sand. There's really not much. You could dig down and there's just more sand.
Good thing I used.
And below
animal
that, there's
friendship
probably
first.
sandstone.
Good thing I used animal friendship first. Otherwise, that would have ended poorly.
At some point in the past, a defiler defiled the shit out of this particular area. This patch of ground is as dead as it gets.
Defiled the shit.
There's a couple of druids that are slaves here that are reviving a little bit of plant life, but only through magic and careful cultivation have they managed to make anything live down here.
Yeah. So
All right.
hopefully, with some time, attention, and druid craft, we can actually get berries out of this bush.
These Calyx also have a bush.
The Urukites, yeah, they have a bush as well.
Yeah, they're kites. They have druids.
All right, night falls. Some
Okay,
people
wait.
skulk around and do stuff. Do you guys want to do anything?
I want to bury before I go to sleep. I want to bury my items in a spot only I would know, under like near a rock, under in the sand.
Okay.
Want to bury all my belongings,
All right, you hide your belongings.
and I also sleep right next to it.
I suggest you make a stealth roll so nobody sees where you bury your stuff. Otherwise, somebody might spot you do it.
Stealth roll. All right, got it.
I go to the Ehlers, to Confucius, and I ask him about Kenla. And I ask him, so has she been fully healed since what happened in the crowd? It
That
might be
one. We healed
Mhm.
her body, but nothing could be done for her mind. That one's crazy.
Okay, I was wondering because she probably still gonna want to practice for the big event coming in a week.
Wait, who are you talking about?
The gladiator, Kamla.
Yeah, the lady that we helped getting beat
So
up because
last
of,
week at the Gladiator Arena, Conla and Lisanne got into a fight, and I think it
I was there, bro.
was.
Yeah.
Let's see, which one was it? It was. Conla was choking Lisanne to death, and everybody jumped in and beat the shit out of Conla. So she was defeated by Grimorn, Morg, and Norcus. And so Lisanne survived the encounter and now likes those three. And
I hope
Conla
so.
dislikes those three. And the reason she did it was jealousy, because she wants Techadril for herself. But Conla has been partnered with Techadril in the Gladiator games. And Lisanne says the Master of Games chose me to be his partner because our skills complement each other. But Conla would hear nothing of it and thinks that they're sleeping together, and she wants to murder the shit out of Lisanne out of jealousy.
we'll have to find her a new partner, I guess.
But yeah, they healed her up, but she's still furious. And so stuff might go down in the future.
Well, maybe Morg can prove himself to be a worth companion.
No, he already picked a partner. He's with that dude you asked to guard the bush.
Oh yeah, I'm done after that.
Okay.
I'll go and meditate and rest for the night.
Like I said, night has fallen. Some people are sneaking around doing their nightly business. The thief goes out and steals some water skins.
I got a 17 on that stealth roll, by the way.
17 stealth is good. Nobody notices where you bury your hidden treasure, so it'll be safe
And,
for the night.
And with 2 blankets, do I get her resistant to the cold?
Yeah, with a couple blankets, you can have advantage on the roll.
All right. Is it cold that night though?
It'll be cold tonight for 3 hours out of the night. Anybody out in the sandy wastes is gonna have to make 3 con saves.
You
So
did
we'll-
get that extra blanket from me.
Yes. What about your blanket though?
Morg should make any moves on con. It's like, hey, I'm available.
So roll 3 con saves with advantage.
3 con saves with advantage. DC 10.
All right. Please don't fuck me, D&D.
Are you still sort of staying awake to find the thief?
No, I got 2 levels of exhaustion. Staying awake
Oh,
would
okay.
not be in my best interest.
No, it would be
Okay,
a real bad idea.
I can help you with that tomorrow. Well, when the morning comes.
15.
Nice. Nice.
17, 15, 15.
No, the 17 was for the stealth roll.
No, 15, 15. What's the other one then?
I'm rolling it right now. Please don't fuck me.
Fine.
Nice.
Well, hang
Oh,
on.
shit.
So you rested. You gain 1 level of exhaustion from the cold, but because you rested, you lose 1 level of exhaustion. So you're still at 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't
okay.
worry. I can help you out. I can help you out with that in the morning.
But at least I'm no longer sleep deprived.
Hmm.
All right. So everyone sleeps through the night. The next morning, See what time is it? 11:30. Should we keep going? Another half hour.
Yeah, I can keep going.
I'm down.
I can wait till midnight, then I got call it a night.
All right. I guess we can go a little bit into a third day. We're actually much more efficient than we've been in the past.
No
I wonder why
argument.
that is. It seems that with someone missing, we've gotten a lot faster.
Maybe.
I
Well,
don't want to say it, but I think we're all thinking it.
I think it's just that we have the right amount of players right now. A DM and 4 players is the optimal number of players for an online D&D game.
Indeed.
We have
Beyond that, it gets a little
Fine.
cluttered on the voice. On the VoIP.
Soul, your
Yep.
character can come to my character and ask for help with your exhaustion problem.
Oh yeah,
Where
but
are
it
you?
never covers exhaustion.
Lesser restoration does recover exhaustion.
Greater
Hey.
does, not lesser.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Yeah, Lesser Restoration only solves like 4 things, I think.
I thought. Oh, here,
Need-
let me look.
You need
Wait,
greater
yeah,
restoration
wait,
for
yeah, we
exhaustion.
do. Yeah.
Blinded, deafened, paralyzed, or poisoned.
Bollocks. Okay.
You can
I
end
guess
a disease with it, so you could solve that gladiator's it
STD.
burns when it pees condition.
that is true. Oh wait, it says you touch a creature and can end either one disease or
Are you
one
3 levels
condition afflicting it. So exhaustion is an affliction.
No,
Sorry,
no, no.
exhaustion is a condition.
Reading comprehension. You got to read the whole sentence, damn it.
It says either one disease or one condition afflicting it.
Keep reading.
Okay. Yeah, for fuck's sake. Never mind. Never mind.
What does it say? What does it say?
It says a little thing about the 4 conditions that it works on.
All right, I guess I can't help with exhaustion. I mean, wait, you said that you know healing stuff. Why don't you just...
Like,
It's
I don't
okay.
know, greater
It's okay.
restoration.
So the next day dawns. The morning, everybody's getting in line for their water. The overseers are coming out and choosing their crews.
Mhm.
So during the getting in line for water, there's a barbarian here, and the half-giant gives him a little less of a squirt than he thinks he deserves, and he asks for more, and the half-giant says, "Fuck off." And he goes berserk and starts attacking Uyalak, and they get in a big fight.
All right, let me see what I used here. For fuck's sake, I don't have any weapons, and I don't have anything that affects single targets. No.
Wow.
Bredsa?
Frenza
if-
will
Yeah.
help. Yet again, Frenza will come to the aid of her fellow overseer. And I'll try to do what I did last time and putting him in the back of the head.
All right.
Let's see.
Probably. Oh, wait a minute. It's a barbarian, so you might have a little bit more trouble with this one. Because that unarmored defense.
16 hits, I assume.
Yeah, 16 hits.
Okay. So let's see. D4 plus 15. So 17 non-lethal bludgeoning damage to the head.
He's raging. He takes 8. He doesn't go down. The rock hits him in the head, and he stops for a moment, but then continues to try to twist Ulyalak's ankle around backwards.
Wait, so who's winning the fight?
He did notice that though, I assume.
Well, yeah, it hurt. It hurt, but he didn't let go of Ulyalak's ankle, and Ulyalak is like tapping the ground in pain as he's in this awful ankle lock that he's not winning. It takes a bit, but several other half-giants, the overseers that were coming into the yard, they're going to come over and pry him off of Ulyalak and drag him over to the frame and tie him up to the frame with great effort because he's putting up quite a struggle in his raging barbarian state.
How's Ululak doing after the fight? Is he wounded?
No, he's not wounded. He was in a bad grapple. He was restrained. He was almost pinned even, which is pretty impressive. That dude had considerable strength for a Hume.
Right. Well, when Traxxas goes to get their water, they'll offer to heal up Ululak for a little bit of extra water.
All right. How much do you heal him for?
Let me make that roll. Give me a moment. Let's see. If it's not enough, I'll just I'll spend another point of cure wounds to try and heal up full.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
Plus
make an
2.
offhand comment to you, like, say, like, you think he's strong enough for the gladiators pit?
Possibly. He twisted my ankle real good.
That's a 4. Does he still need more healing?
Nah, he's fine.
Okay.
Twisted ankle doesn't even really do damage, but he appreciates the healing. It makes him feel better.
All right. So
My
do I
goal
get
is
that?
to have more slaves with gladiator friends, which are strong weapons to hopefully have a good uprising.
Good thing.
Do I get that?
Instead
Do
of
I
just
get that?
shows.
Do I get that extra pip of water?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he'll give you a full gallon.
Thank God.
All right. Anybody else gonna say anything to the half giant guard Ululak?
Yes. Hey, it's me again. Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm back at it again. I can't say it. I can't say it. Yu-Yu-Lak.
There you go.
Yu-Yu-Lak. Hey. It's me again. My name is Soul. I just might need an extra drop of water. Not an extra drop, but can I get an extra half gallon? Just asking. I've recently been pretty tired, and I kind of need it.
Next,
Can I roll persuasion?
a dwarf walks up and pushes you out of the way and gets his water.
It's not even a. Wait, do I even get any water?
Nope.
Don't worry, Soul. I can probably give you a gallon since healers get enough water.
I rolled a reaction. Can you guess what it was? It was a 1.
So I got a gallon and a half.
Yeah, you can take my gallon. I get enough water as it is being a healer.
Wait, are you actually part of the Psionicist?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that was Grimoire.
Grimorn is too, yes.
Pretty much any of the players that goes to the Psionicist tent, they'll notice that you have the feat that makes you psionic, and so technically that's like an easy faction to join.
But I have a question. Diamond, what is your character's name again?
Traxxas.
Traxxas. Does Trax just know that the healing word I cast on him was magic? Just out of nowhere. Wait, you can cast healing word? Never mind.
I don't generally. I'm a traveler, a hermit, if you will. I don't exactly go around asking questions.
Okay.
You might wonder what element he worships, though.
Possibly. I would probably ask later on if you are also one of nature's children.
Are you a waterbender or an airbender?
Or an earth bender, the best kind of benders in this world.
Gender bender.
Boy, a metal bender would be kind of useless on Athos.
A gender bender would be omega useful.
Actually, well, I mean, technically that's not true since there are tiny sprigs of iron mixed in with sand. Well, I mean, I guess it depends on where you are.
The iron sand bender.
All right, then. So,
I go to Vrensa.
Cars, dad.
Yes.
Say, hey, Vrensa, can you follow me for a second? I want to ask you a question. So I take you kind of over here. And then the way I get it done, I try to position myself here, looking at you like this, okay? And I say, just give me a second. So I cast, no, actually not right now, but I see, hey, friends, like, where have you been, like, all this time? Like, so far, like, most of us have found some shelter, but
Well,
Soul still needs some help. Yeah.
Before getting in with the overseers, I was working with the Urakites, and I kind of nod over in their general direction. As I'm originally from Uruk, they don't trust any outsiders. I know they really hate Tyrians. Excuse me.
Bless you. That
Why
wasn't
do you
sneeze,
get-
right?
Sorry.
Oh, so you're an overseer
So-
now.
Yeah.
Like, do you have
and,
any like advantage? Like, how does that work for you?
Well, I've been trying to steer the rest of our work crew towards slightly less onerous tasks that such as the hauling bricks and so forth.
Isn't that only like Norcus and Sol now?
It's Traxxas, Norcus, and Celiac. It's just the three of them. So I've been trying to steer them towards slightly less hazardous duty. But you know, we've only got less than a week now to go before the Sorcerer King wants this. What's his name again?
Calic.
I
Calic.
don't remember. What's that?
Calic.
Calic.
So before Calic wants this ziggurat finished.
How
So,
far are we with the construction?
Not
I
far
don't
enough.
know.
You're behind schedule, and
Yeah.
Calic will be furious.
Well, I say like
we
I turn I turn around a little bit, like looking at the crowd, and I can't tell you, like the whipping and starving people is not helping. If you guys want to build that thing, we need a stronger workforce, you know.
Oh, don't get me wrong. This is simply a means to an end before we can try to bust out of here. My friends over at the Urukite camp, we're working on that.
Well, I was told
The,
something. I was told something. Like I've been talking with some of the people, the gladiators, and
Yeah.
for the great event, apparently they're going to be equipped with a lot of armor and a lot of weapons. And
Oh,
apparently in the city there's a warehouse where there's it might all be stashed.
do you know where this warehouse is?
No, I don't I don't have access outside the city except for when we're going to the arena for the practices and the fights.
Well,
but
I've got a bit more freedom of movement. Not completely free, but if you can get some information on where this warehouse might be, I can see what I can do.
I can maybe some of the gladiator knows. Like maybe there'll be actually maybe you can ask the overseers if for the practices, how do they get the weapons to the arena when they go and fight? And there might be a possibility that we can have some of our friends go and be the people that go and carries it out. I don't know if that's part of the jobs that is doable in this city. Like they kind of use us
I'm
for
not
whatever
really
they
on
want.
the crew with the gladiators, unfortunately. I'm on the crew with keeping the slaves, the workers in line.
Yeah.
So I'll have to see. I think that's more the games. Was it the games master has his own batch of overseers that check out the gladiators. But
Well, what-
regardless, we've got less than a week to get this done, or I foresee quite possible that they're just going to purge the slave pits. So we need
When
to be
you-
gone by then.
When you're outside of the town, do you think you could do me a favor and try to find me something?
I can keep an eye out. Absolutely.
I'm looking for magnets or magnetic stones.
Magnets.
Yeah, it's something that priests we use to fix certain things. So if you had like a broken tool or like even like maybe an armor or weapon, I could probably fix it. I think that'd be pretty useful
mean,
here.
I'll look, but I mean, iron is just so incredibly rare and valuable.
Well, they're
No.
stones. They're called lodestones, so they're not iron. They're more.
I mean, Magnets
That's
are
what a
made of iron.
lodestone's made out of.
Well,
Yeah.
is a
Lodestones
lodestone
are-
exactly made of iron though?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
It
A
is made of
lodestone is
magnetite.
think hematite. Hematite is the highest grade of iron ore that you can pull out of the ground.
Mm,
You
It's
say hematite, I
they're
heard
it's-
made
hematite.
of,
it's-
they're made of magnetite.
it's mineral magnetite. So
Mhm. Which
it's
is
not-
an iron, which is an almost pure iron bearing ore.
what you could, if you could find maybe in the market. Like I don't need much, I just need a little bit.
They exist
I-
for sure. There
I
is, in
don't
fact,
have
an
access.
iron mine. That's northeast of Tyr.
Like even if it was from maybe even like a broken piece of equipment or anything, you know.
Like I said, I'll keep an eye out, but
That'd
iron
be great. That would be
as
very useful in a place
plentiful,
like this.
yeah, as relatively plentiful as it is in Tyr, it's still not an easy hand. And,
Hmm.
getting some from the market is a twofold problem. I don't have access to the market, nor do I have any money.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Well, I'm
like
just
I said,
asking.
yeah, no, I'll see what I can do though. Absolutely.
And while we're doing this, then I was like, just give me a second. I want to just cast something real quick. So I cast I detect magic, and I use my passive perception, and I look around at all the overseers and some of the guards, and I want to see if there's anything that is glowing on any of them that I can actually see.
The overseers are also slaves, so they had all their items taken away from them. There's no magic items in the slave pit that I know of. I think you're not going to find anything.
Okay. No, I'm just giving it a shot. We never know.
I could be
Okay.
wrong. There might be something, like maybe there's like one person has a hidden magic item. Like maybe one of the dwarven priests might have crafted a magic item while they were in here. Or maybe one of the druids has crafted a magic item of some sort. But just looking around out in the yard right now, you don't see anything.
Okay. Well, try to give Soul a break if you can. Like he's having kind of a rough time around here. I think he's still sleeping outside.
Yes.
If you're whipping him, maybe don't hit too hard.
I'll try not to whip Soul.
We have a lot on our shoulders with the healing over there at the tent, and unless we can have to look after, maybe we can actually heal some of the workers that are hurt, and that could add a little bit to the workforce. Okay. Well, you have a nice day. Stay safe out there.
Stay safe out there.
It's it.
Don't break your wrist whipping people too hard.
Yeah. Thank you, man. So I'll go and grab my water, and I ask if I can grab a little bit more. One of the gladiator asked me to bring some extra water.
Boy, this half giant isn't having it today. He tells you to fuck off.
Say,
He shit the bed. Literally.
please, Ulrich, if you want, when you have a downtime, you can talk to me in giant. We can have a conversation. Hey, talk about where you came from.
You're gonna get your face booted in.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 7. He gives you no water. 0.
Damn it. All right, I'll go back to my work.
Maybe next time. Maybe we can catch him in a better mood later on.
I know. I was trying to get some water for that plant.
The mean
So-
old water master prevents anybody
to-
from getting their thirst quenched.
Back to cutting wood.
I don't know.
I have 4
Overseer
gallons
Vrenza, what do
of
you say?
water.
I think we're going to be baking bricks today. Let's play to our strengths. I've got some extra water. I know where to get more. If it gets to be a little hot today, we'll make sure you're taken care of.
With 2 levels of exhaustion, I get disadvantage, right, Ninja?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Not on wisdom saves, I don't believe. Or wisdom skill checks, does he?
I could
shit.
give.
Should
I
just
could
be
give-
strength and dexterity.
Disadvantage on all
Right.
ability and skill checks. Speed halved. Anyone can tell you're tired with a DC 10 Wisdom Insight check.
I can give him guidance. So don't make your roll just yet.
Is that the one that gives you advantage?
Guidance gives a D4 to check ability checks.
Well, that still helps a little bit.
All right. All right. So wisdom perception rolls, I guess, for you guys.
Perception checks? Okay.
But let Traxxas go and give you that guidance.
All right.
Where's that?
Yeah, it was Traxxas, right?
Yeah. It's free for me. Since it's a cantrip, it's free for me. So
Perception. What is my perception?
Let's see.
Plus one.
You
Morg,
get disadvantage on it.
Taruk, Vrenza, they don't do anything. Let's see, Norcus, I'll roll for him. I got a 9.
hey, I did a good job today.
Oh,
Hey, Sia did a
9.
good job.
Nope, it's disadvantage. So that's 9
you guys
plus
rolling?
D4.
You have
D4. 1. So that's actually a 10.
11.
I got a 9 plus 1. 10.
Yeah, that's 10 plus your 1d4 is 11.
Oh yeah, 11. You're right. I keep getting 11s.
DC's a 10, right?
Well, you did good enough work.
So 17, 11, and what does an Orcus get?
There's not really a DC for this. It's just a check to see how well you do.
Okay. All right, you just tallied up. Forgot.
What did an Orcus get?
Norcus got a 9. Krios, what have you got?
For what?
I guess you're going to be in the tent healing, so you're not going to be doing that. I'll put a 0 for that. All right. Well, let's see. What were they aiming for?
So
7 times
so
15.
Diamond Dragon got 17.
Is that 85?
Guess I'm whipping Norcus today.
Norcus has been doing so much though.
He has.
All right. So if I do the math right, I think the goal is 595 per week. You got 646 last week. What would that be? 1,190.
What is this for? Progression to the
Minus 646. This is the ziggurat, how complete it is.
Problem is, a bunch of us aren't working anymore per se, so we're not contributing to the actual progression of the ziggurat.
So the goal is 544 more production, and there's less of you working. So he's actually going to, like, you're going to need to have people on the crew. So
We could get our half giant ex-overseer, Babungus, to help out.
Psychofrog, I need you to pick out 4 NPCs from the Tyrion side here. Well, I guess it doesn't have to be the
Tyrion
Tyrion side.
side.
Just take your pick of 4 NPC workers, and I'll roll for them.
How many of them do we know?
I mean,
by
I'll
name?
grab some. I'll grab some of the Urkites. So
You want to put the
I-
Urkites on your crew instead?
yeah, since they presumably trust me. So I guess Aramis, Hakan, and I guess 2 random human slaves, because I think those are the only named ones.
Okay, you put them on your work crew. They're going to provide a little extra work. 9, 6, that's 15. 15, that's 30, plus 10, that's 40.
It's like, come here. I promise not to whip you too hard. Come here.
Pretty much.
Okay, I'll make a note. That's from the NPC. This side's from the player. That puts you at, let's see, 70 plus 40.
110.
How'd the NPCs do?
Yeah, it was a mix. One of them had a 15, one of them had a 10, another one had a 9, and one had a 6.
Oh,
They did terrible.
Below average.
However, it contributes, so at least you're probably going to hit your end of the week quota. That's what really counts. As long as you hit the numbers that they're looking for, then the ziggurat will be completed in time for the great games. And if the
I'll
ziggurat's
leave,
not going to be
Norcus.
completed in time, there's going to be a lot of whipping that happens.
So, Norcus took 8 damage.
Babungus. Whipped
No,
Babungus.
Norcus.
Okay.
Norcus.
Okay, I'm making a note to pick up after the work period on day 2 when we continue next week, because it is 11:58. We're about to call it quits here.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Man, that was a really good game. I feel like we had a very efficient game. We had lots of good role play. You got to progress the story and meet some of the new NPCs. That worked out rather well.
I'm trying to avoid having to eradicate the elves. But they
I
I
thought
don't
you
think,
wanted to. What do you mean?
I was thinking of a way we could make that happen.
yeah, like it'd be optimal. It'd be optimal. Like, to be honest, I think we'd be better without them at the same time.
Nobody
They could be
likes
helpful.
the elves.
No.
No, nobody
maybe-
likes Ebola. or
Maybe,
rabies.
maybe we can hatch a
And
plan.
Junta. The Junta virus.
Maybe we can hatch a plan to get the elves on our side, if not knowing they're on our side. Trick them.
I should probably ask Varenza if the overseers know about the breeding situation going on at the half giant end of the slave pits.
Who do you think sets it up?
Of course they do. That's how things work around here.
I see.
Yeah. The overseers are the ones in charge of that.
They sort of delegate, so the Templars command it, the half-giant guards enforce it, the half-giants within the slave pits do the day-to-day maintenance and making sure they're fed and taken care of and whatnot. But yeah, generally it gets delegated down to the slaves to take care of the other slaves. But they're also given more food and water because they do that. So they're performing a service for the Templars, and they get better treatment. And
Better
half-giants,
treatment.
they need that
And-
extra food and water because they're quite a bit larger. So they've all caved in, and they help the Templars with their little genetics experimentation. Of course, it's a grisly work because every one of these humans dies in the childbearing process.
This camp is an awful place, man.
It's really, really awful.
There's like rape happening in the corner.
And
There's
this is
like-
not even the worst of what happens in Dark Sun.
People in Dark Sun are wildly racist and do horrible things to each other, including genocide and rape and murder and theft and raiding, and it's an awful, awful place.
And you can't quite call it cannibalism because they're not usually eating their own, but I guess there's several halflings and Trikeen have no problem eating sentient.
Well, that's not exactly
Usually.
true. So what it says is a Thri-kreen loves the taste of an elf's brains, but they have a moral thing against eating sentient beings. So if they were starving, they would
it's more
definitely...
the halflings then, I guess.
So, like, if a Thri-kreen was starving, they would eat an elf, and they would probably really love the taste of it, but they'd feel bad about it. Because, like, that was something that was alive and thinking. That's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, just an animal. Not much lost
Now,
there.
if they died naturally, then it's okay to eat them after.
Right.
Ninja, before we end, could I make one more animal handling roll during lunchtime?
For your snake, sure.
Yes. Okay. Please be
Maybe-
better this time.
I mean,
You
I
keep them
gotta
around,
be
you're gonna need to give them a
thankful
name.
for this genetic stuff. Otherwise, Morg
That's better.
wouldn't
Right.
be born.
Morg wouldn't exist without the ministrations of the half-giants. You could
And
say
before the
they're almost your parents.
Hey, before the session ends, can we have like an end game character meetup because we haven't really like exchanged information in character.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys just finished your workday. You'd be heading to your meal period. You could all hang out and have a meal and explain what you've all been up to.
All right.
Exposition.
Right.
The
Good night,
end.
guys. I got
Good
it.
night.
Good
Okay,
night.
good night.
I'm going to end the stream there. Thanks for watching out there in Twitch land. Hope you enjoy the show.
Marcus.
Good night.